Hi, and welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, and today I have a special guest. I've basically run through the gambit of guys on another show that I do. You may have heard of it, The Circle of Jerks. It airs, I think, on Tuesdays at 6:30 whenever Baldy wants to start it. But I have had Tony, who was like my second guest. I've had Baldy. I've had Toy Optics. So I figured it was time to bring in the big guy, the guy that looms over all of us. Well, the rumor is he looms over all of us. Normally on screen, he's smaller than the rest of us because normally we only get like from half of his beard up. But I think we got him fully erect today. Yeah, I did say erect. But anyway, my special guest, Action Media Toys.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
Stop it. Get some help. I don't have that part. Terry, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
You are the last of I guess I haven't interviewed myself. I've tried to figure out how I could do an interview with myself in this format, but that would take way too much effort for me to do. And people think I talk about myself enough as is.
You can do it pre-recorded.
Oh, it would have to be a pre-recorded one, or I'd have to have myself pre-recorded and have some great questions. A lot of work for me. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. It just happened to work out perfectly because I think you said this is what, like, around your birthday?
Yes. Yeah.
When is your birthday?
Saturday.
Well, happy early fucking birthday to Terry, everyone.
Thank you.
So let's just get into some stuff quickly. So before we start, Action Media Toys. Now, you used to go by, what was the old name you used to go by?
I've had a couple.
But
there's
had,
been a couple.
But you had one special one.
The Island Viper.
No, that's not how it went. Huh?
The Island Viper.
That's it right there.
Yes.
Now, where did that come from? Can I ask?
Yes. So when I changed the name to the Island Viper, it was basically making fun of Viper Island and all the people that just hate everything, the people that are perpetually dissatisfied with everything. Nothing ever pleases them, and that's what the Viper, whatever the fuck, the Island Viper is. It's a caricature of the people who are perpetually dissatisfied with everything.
That's how I knew you, and I was the first one to actually lose my channel because of that DB.
Yeah.
So I found your channel through that, and I remember you talking about a lot of different things and found it very interesting. But let's get into what your name is actually now, because I know you actually were going by the Island Viper when we first started Circle of Jerks, and you said, well, I think I need to change my name. Where does Action Media Toys come from?
So I own a company. It's a media and retail company. It's Action Media Toys. Action Media LLC. And Action Media Toys is what I sell toys under.
So not very original.
Nope. Not very original at all.
And I do remember when you brought that up, because and hopefully we'll get to it. You're gonna be starting a Kickstarter.
Yes.
All right. And we'll talk about that later on when we get to kind of where we are now. And I remember you saying, like, you know what, maybe it's time to kind of cool that. If I'm going to be trying to get people to back it, maybe actually use the name. It tends to make sense. I mean, making fun of people is way more fun.
Yes.
But you can't always, because sometimes people are not big into that.
I mean, there's a theory that it sells, but I don't think it sells as good as some people, other people.
So Matthew, my moderator, one of my moderators, before he was even my moderator, that was one thing that I talked about when I started my show. I said, I don't want to be a drama channel because it's a cheap pop. And if you know anything about professional wrestling, it's that cheap pop. They come out, boom, everyone goes nuts. But again, if you have nothing of substance after that, then that's just your cheap pop, right? I mean,
Right.
and that's how I always looked at it. It draws interest for a while, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you don't have anything.
Hold on, can you tell me who this WWE actor is?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm in the middle of a show, but yeah,
Okay, the blonde guy with his hair slicked back.
that doesn't help me out.
Okay. Oh my god.
All right. Hey Terry, don't mind.
My
Who
apologies.
is it?
I can't get a. It's live. I can't get a.
Oh, then I don't know. Hey, don't worry, kids. They just don't understand. Oh, wait, that's parents. It wasn't even my daughter this time. It wasn't even Olivia. She's usually the one that just doesn't give a shit. But she's always like, no, if you have someone on or you're on a show, I won't. If it's your own show by yourself, I don't care. Like, all right, well, thanks. Anyway, let's quickly say hi to the chat before we get into everything, if you don't mind. And we have Triple D's Dungeon here. We have GI Bro, who has the best guns in the business. We have Beardy McBeardison. We have this asshole right here. We have Sci-Fi George. We have Memu Nestor, or Matthew Matson, my moderator. We have Woody 222, who always gets the. Wait a minute, I don't even have it lined up here. I should know this stuff, but I don't. He loves the fart sound for some reason, and I think because his wife hates it. And then we also got Matthew with his. Same time Toys has joined us. Let's see here. We have my other moderator, Action Figs, not Action Media Toys. I think he was trying to steal it from you, but he can't spell, as you can see. We have this asshole, another 1/5 of the. He's the junior lawyer on the show, but hey, we still love him the same, right?
Oh yeah.
HK Viper Scout is here. Alex Martinez. Let's see. Did I say Viper Scout? I think we did. And then we have Ian Echo saying, hello, guys. When are we getting Hooded Cobra Commander?
Next year.
Possibly. Patrick Stockel, Todd C. Everyone, I don't know if he knows, but that has become like the bane of my existence, listening to people ask about the question that I'm like, Hasbro's not doing it right now. But I've heard rumors too, so.
$51.99.
Really?
Yep.
Well, we can talk about that later. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Snake is. I don't think have I ever seen Snake here. I know I see him all the time in my comments. So great to have you. We have MCR Maza. We have Royal Roosters Collectibles. We have Tim H. We have Cal Shave or Callister. I like Cal Shave, but U.S. Combat Dojo. All right. Now we've gone through everyone. 23 people. In the description is also the links to Terry's Instagram and YouTube. So let's just get into it. Your birthday is Saturday. How old are you going to be?
How old do you think I'm going to be?
You're younger than us.
I'm probably the youngest of the 5.
Yes, you are. I think you're about, what, 42?
I'll be 43.
43. So you're 42 now.
Yep.
Hi, it's me said
72.
72.
I feel like it sometimes.
Oh, don't we all? For the record, it doesn't get better. Tatsi said 51. He's saying you look old. I'm just saying. Hi, it's me was making a joke. Tatsi is just saying you look old as fuck. Because anytime I see someone's like in their early 40s, I'm like, I guess that's in our age range, but I'm about to be 50. So, which 50 again, as a kid, 50 seemed like you're dead. Like no one lives to be 50.
Right. And I've got a 4-month-old.
The fact that you're having kids at this age, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. All right, so about to be 43, so you're 42 because that's how numbers work. What was your family life? Where'd you grow up at? Like, where were you born? Were your parents together? Did you have siblings? All that good stuff.
So, um, I don't. I guess I'll start with like where I was born. I was actually born here in the town where I live right now, and I've lived several different places around, but kind of always stuck around here.
What and where's that? The state,
Scottsburg.
which
I live in
is
Scottsburg, Indiana.
Indiana. Okay,
Yep.
not Kentucky.
Not Kentucky.
No,
I'm close to
are
Kentucky.
you in Central Time Zone or are you still in
Eastern.
Eastern? You are in Eastern. Okay, I can't tell where the break is.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that I'm in Central. I'm like, no, Michigan. Once you leave Michigan, it changes.
Yeah.
So then, what was your family like? Do you have your parents together, siblings?
Yes and no. So, my mother died when I was a year old, and
Okay.
my father's parents raised me.
That's, it. I usually like to have the leg up at 13, but fine, it's your show.
The leg up.
You win. All right, I can't compete with that.
So yeah, I had a like my childhood and everything. I had a very close knit family. My dad's parents raised me. My mother actually had a son from a previous marriage. I did not grow up with him. He lives like the next town over. We don't really see each other.
Okay.
We talk if we do, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I had my dad, my grandparents, my two uncles. I had a great aunt, great uncle, their son, his daughter. Like I had a big close family when I was a kid.
So you said that your dad's parents raised you. So
Mhm.
was your dad living with you, or
No.
was it okay?
No, my dad did not live with me, but he was around.
Okay.
He was only 21
Oh
when my
wow.
mom died.
Okay.
So I cannot imagine being 21 years old, having two kids, and your wife dies.
So he had another kid.
Well, he had a stepson.
Okay. So your brother
He
is
adopted him. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So basically, your brother from a different father was raised by your dad's parents.
No.
Oh, that
No.
gets even
When my
worse.
mom died, her parents sued for custody of him, and obviously won because they were blood related.
Yes.
So it was a lot of bitterness between his
Yeah.
grandparents and mine, I guess.
And that's got to be rough. And again, I understand from multiple points of view where it's like
Mhm.
that is their grandchild, not yours.
Yeah.
But if your dad was raising him, it's that's such a hard, especially like your dad was so young. If he
Right.
took that responsibility on at such a young age, like to have that's just rough. Like that's
It is. I mean, my dad was in the military, and then he was working a lot to make sure that everything was taken care of with his family, and then all of a sudden it's just turned upside down. I cannot imagine that at 21 years old. It's just unfathomable to me.
no, and that's what people wonder why like I don't smoke, drink, or do drugs. I never have. And I promised my mom that I never would. And that's what every kid promises their parents, right?
Right.
But when my mom passed away, I was just like, I'm never going to do this. And then I get into the punk scene and the straight edge scene, so it was a lot easier. But at 13, when my mom passed away, I always looked at it like my dad has enough to worry about with the 6-year-old daughter. He worked afternoons, so we didn't see him a lot other than on the weekends.
Yeah.
And to watch all the sacrifices that he made at that, not at that age and again, I look back at it and really like you're not making sacrifices. Those are your kids. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
But in this day and age, people don't look at it like that. But I always looked at it that way.
Yeah, and that really bothers me too, man. When I see people talk about, what a hindrance on their life their kids are, and it really, really bothers me.
I can't say, I'm saying I was like that when I was younger, and I would hear, because that's when the mom joke started,
Mhm.
like in middle school, high school, and it
Right.
used to really bother me. Obviously, it doesn't now because you've heard me make my own joke. But that used to really bother me, and I used to get really mad when someone would hate their parents. Until I got older, and you start realizing everyone's relationship with their parents isn't the same as what I had.
Right.
And you have to take that into consideration. Like, not everyone had good parents. Some people, I never met my ex's mom. Never. The kids never did. Her daughter never did, and her daughter's gonna be 29. The woman was an awful person, and when she died, I literally got a text from my ex saying, "Mother dearest died last night," and I was like, "I know you said, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just want to get my pictures." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, see, that's what makes it kind of tough for me, man. Tomorrow makes a year since my dad passed, and my daughter's 4 years old, and she stayed with my dad and stepmom in the mornings while my wife went to work, and I slept for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I'd go pick her up or he'd drop her off. And like my daughter talks about him every single day.
Yeah.
She was so close to him.
And that's where I know my stepdaughter's 20, gonna be 29. She was she is close with her grandfather, but she moved to San Diego. So I can't even imagine when Stan passes away. And I hope it's not for a long time, but she never knew her dad. So before I came into her life, it was always her mom and her grandfather, So, and he's always been great to all of us, even when her mom and I split up. So I can only imagine how difficult that is for your daughter. And they don't fully understand at that age. I've always said
I
that.
don't hide anything from my daughter. I don't like. I explain everything to the fullest extent that I can that she can understand.
Yeah, but they don't understand. Like, they don't understand that it's the end. Like, you don't get to see them again. They don't fully get that.
I think she does. I think she does understand that like he's gone, and
Okay.
it's probably because of the way that I explained it to her. Because I mean, I told her right off. It was like, this means that we're never going to see him again.
And that that's rough. But it's
It is.
great that she had a relationship with him, and that it's going to be there hopefully for the rest of her life, that she has these memories.
Yes.
And I just talked to, I believe last week when I was talking to Maximum Warp, I think he had these crazy memories of being like, 3-4 years old, going places, going to see Star Wars with his dad and stuff. And I'm like, that is awesome that you can remember stuff like that, because we all have like those vague images of our childhood. But and again, I'm sure it's rough on her, but it's good that she got to know him.
Yeah. And it was good for him too, man, because like, my dad, when all of that happened with my mom, my dad basically just tried to like rebuild his life and regain what he lost, I think.
Okay.
And he remarried multiple times throughout the years, and he had multiple other children throughout the years. And there's a one definite, one pretty sure, and one maybe.
Tony, he's starting to sound like your dad. Tony's dad had a bunch of other kids. I don't think you've ever heard us talk about it. Yeah, he's got a few other kids.
But yeah, like sometimes my dad was not around very much, and there were also those times where it would be the phone call of I'm going to come pick you up at this time. And I remember when I was 11 years old, waiting, I was I was bouncing a basketball on the sidewalk. He was supposed to be there at a certain time to pick me up, and he never showed up. And my grandmother came out and got me and was like, "Look, he's not coming. Come inside."
Oh, I couldn't imagine that.
And that was the last time I ever waited on him for anything.
But it sounds like you had a good relationship with them afterwards, though.
When we were older, yeah.
Yeah. So you were able to
Especially
repair
after
it.
my daughter was born.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's nice that you were able to repair it. I mean,
Yeah.
again, like you said, being 21, losing your wife, having a kid, a step kid, and then having that kid ripped away probably doesn't help anything.
No, I'm sure that it doesn't. I mean, I don't like fault him for anything that he was doing or whatever, because like I said, I can't imagine what it would be like to go through that. And I would never want, I hope that I'm obviously not going to now, because, my kids are, my daughter's older at least.
Yeah.
But,
Let's say hi to
which is also probably why I was hesitant to have a family when I was younger. Kind of fear of something like that happening.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but I will say this: when I hit 26 and I was twice as old as I was now, I had been alive longer than I was with my mom. All right, she was gone longer than I was with her. And then when I hit 39, which she passed away at 38, it was it was like, wow, you know what? This is it's nice to get by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quickly says they had a Hella Geek here. We have Krusty O'Crow. Royal Coaster saying these are some sad stories. Yeah, I'm all about the sad stories. you can go back to the archives and watch some of these, and there's stuff about people trying to unalive themselves. There's losses of children. This is about just getting to know the person next to us, and sometimes they have super happy stories, and sometimes it takes a while before you get the happiness. But I think we got the happiness. You got the circle of jerks.
Right. So
it's like the culmination of your life. I had 2 kids, but the circle of jerks, that's
so my dad had 2 brothers, 2 younger brothers, and I kind of grew up with my 2 uncles when I was younger, and like I had all kinds of experiences with vastly different worlds of things that they were into. Like one of my uncles was big into science and animals and stuff like that. So I grew up like in a milder version of like the Tiger King. That like as a child being around, 12, 15, 18-foot long Burmese pythons, having a bear that lives in the backyard, or a mountain lion. I had an interesting childhood.
Can we just say that the Tiger King saved 50% of the population during the pandemic? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it saved like 50% of the population. Quickly, we have Triple D's Dungeon, a member for 12 months, so you get a
fucking Phil Collins.
Poor Phil Collins. So, okay, your childhood. You're born. What year were you born?
82.
82. So you're coming in. I mean, you're born right when G.I. Joe is basically coming on. What is your first memory of your first toy? Not like the first thing you fell in love with, but do you remember like the first toys? And again, for me and most people my age, adventure people, Hot Wheels or Matchbox, as I say, those types of things. But you would have been coming, like your memories would have been, you could have had Star Wars, where that's not something we would have had.
I didn't have Star Wars. I did end up with some later on because like I think my grandma bought them at a yard sale or something.
Okay.
Some Star Wars stuff. But
what was like the first thing you remember?
First thing I remember is probably Hot Wheels.
Okay.
Hot Wheels and Air Raiders.
Air Raiders has come up a few times and I don't remember them.
They were
like
weird,
I've seen
man.
them and
cool.
Yeah, I've seen them since then. You know, like watching videos. I'm like, I kind of remember that. Matthew's about to pop it and go like, "You don't remember anything." I'm like, I remember having the USS Flag in 1985 for Christmas. Um,
But GI Joe was there too.
yeah, so like again, like you would have been when those memories are starting to, to come about. There's already hand-me-down GI Joes. People
Yeah.
that probably bought GI Joes, Masters of the Universe, that realized that's not something I really wanted. So being like that was like the first thing you kind of remember. Do you remember the first toy line that you fell in love with?
It was probably GI Joe.
Is there a reason? Like of all like you're come like again, like and I'm just speaking from like when I kind of start thinking I remember stuff, you're coming in like Turtles, Power Rangers might even be starting there. GI Joe, I mean GI Joe would kind of be like at its height, but also its quick downturn. Motu,
Dude,
Transformers.
I had everything. I had my grandparents buying stuff for me, both my uncles buying stuff for me. My dad, whatever flavor of the week he had, was always trying to impress me with toys. I mean, like I had a lot of people buying toys for me, so I had a little bit of everything. I had Masters of the Universe, I had Ninja Turtles, I had GI Joe, I had Rock Lords, pretty much like any toy that looked cool or whatever. I probably had it. I remember my dad had this one girlfriend that so he was a truck driver at this point, an over the road truck driver. He'd be gone for a week, 2 weeks at a time. And he hooked up with this chick out in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. And like she fell in love with me. She was really cool. And she would make him like hunt down. Like if there was something I said I wanted, she would make him hunt it down all over the United States. Like there was one, I don't remember the name, Bone Age. I think. Do you remember Bone Age?
I do not. Ed, come on, come on, my moderators, I mean, they're basically my research people. If one of them doesn't know it, then it doesn't exist. You have it wrong. I'm just especially
Bone
Ed.
Age was like,
Ed is like crazy when it comes to that.
it was like dinosaur skeletons that you could take apart and make into different like battle machines and shit.
Doesn't even ring a bell. But I mean, that would be you're probably looking at 80
mid to late 80s, 88 maybe.
Yeah, I would be starting to tone down the toys and probably only be into GI Joe and little things like that. So she would make you people hunt it down.
She would make my dad hunt down stuff. I think it was called Bone Age.
So MCR is saying, I remember Bonesaw. I don't know if you said it twice because that was the commercial.
Yeah, Bone Age. It was all dinosaur names.
That's interesting. I'm going to look into that.
T-Rex, Tritops, Deinonychus, Ptero. It was like a pterodactyl. And they had these little caveman figures that like rode in them and whatnot.
They don't even.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up later.
Yeah, Bone Age, Kenner. They were from Kenner.
Okay. Well, you go from Star Wars to Bone Age.
Yeah. And see, my dad's youngest brother, he would like come home from school. By this time, I had like Transformers, G.I. Joes.
How much older are your uncles? Because
quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. The one of them was born in 1967. One of them was born in, I want to say 1972.
That's only 10 years. I mean, you're more like a little brother than a nephew.
Yeah, to him, I was
10 years.
Yeah, to him, I was more like a little brother, and like I had a shitload of GI Joes, and he would come home from school or come home from his job, and we would set up like huge battles in the living room or in the bedroom, whatever, and just have these big, huge battles between GI Joe and Cobra.
Okay.
And my dad had GI Joe when he was a kid.
But
he
would
had
have
the
the
12-inch stuff.
Yeah.
And him and his cousin would play with their GI Joes together all the time, and that's kind of like how my dad got me into it, was because he saw it and he had it when he was a kid and got it for me.
And it didn't bother him that it was no longer 12 inches.
No.
And I mean that because there's a lot of people that are, there's a lot of the old school guys that said that's not GI Joe. There's like a lot of guys now that say like classified's not GI Joe because it's 6 inches, which makes no sense because GI Joe was originally 12 inches.
Right.
Hey, you know, whatever. So
yeah, no, it didn't bother him at all. He thought it was cool. He thought it was cool that they had all the vehicles and stuff, and he would tell me about like all the vehicles that he had when he was a kid from GI Joe, specifically like the Jeep.
I have heard so many stories about the Jeep. Uh-oh, Terry froze. Terry's moving. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You froze on my screen.
Well, I'm watching here and live on YouTube. I think you froze. Who froze, guys? MCR says, according to age, Terry should be a junior. Hey, it's not our fault that Tony went to school late to be a lawyer. Not my fault. I mean, it's what Tony did. Okay, so Matthew says that Terry froze, and I know this is true because Matthew spends he wastes no time telling me when I'm wrong. So
yeah, I don't doubt it.
So were there other toy lines other than GI Joe that you were interested in? You said you had a lot of stuff, but
yeah, Ninja Turtles. I was big into Ninja Turtles for a while.
You're the prime age for that.
Yeah, had all the Ninja Turtles and just lost interest in them, man. But the one thing that I never lost interest in for the entirety of my life has been GI Joe.
That's I like, and I tell people. I mean, people think I was spoiled because I had like the Flag and Terradrome, but it's like GI Joe was all I really wanted. I had Transformers and Motu. I had that stuff, but I didn't have a lot of it. And I'm sure if I was into Motu, and that's what my love was, I probably would have had Eternia. I would have had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and all that stuff. And I don't know what happened to all my stuff. Like I have all my GI Joe stuff. I remember telling my dad, "Don't ever get rid of the GI Joe stuff." And it doesn't seem like my dad would have gotten rid of the other stuff, but I know I don't have it. I don't remember if I gave it away or whatever. Tony quickly is saying, I was begged to be part of the show when Terry bounces originally. That's not how I remember it. I remember saying, I got to go on Wednesday and I'm super bored when I'm on Wednesdays. Can I come on Tuesdays so I can have fun? I'm just saying. That's how I remember it going down. Maybe,
so I can have fun. What was he not having fun with?
Attack him. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I can't tell you how many times I would text Tony on Attack Him and be like, "You look so bored," and I would know when he reads it because you'd see the smile. I can be a dick sometimes. So you said, Turtles, obviously GI Joe. Were there other things as you got a little bit older playing with the toys that you were really into, or was that just pretty much
a little bit older? As in what?
No, like when you're still in elementary school.
Oh, dude,
like
it was
sixth grade.
Legos and science kits and stuff like that, rock tumblers. And
so you were big into Legos, or
not like big into Legos, but I was into Legos. Lego Technic. That's what I liked, was Lego Technic, because it was machines you could build that did stuff.
Tony says it was usually when Spectrum's on about Transformers. I understand. I understand firsthand now. Alice and Troy jumping in here. All right, so as you start getting older, and we go from elementary school into middle school. Now, for us, I don't know how it is with you. We were kindergarten to fifth was elementary school, and we go into middle school, which was sixth to eighth.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the point that we're all still playing with toys, but we don't tell anyone. We hide it, and then 30 years later, we're like, "Holy shit, we were all actually still playing with toys." Were you still playing with toys or buying them, or did
Yes.
you start to move away?
So when I was around, I was kind of still playing with them a little bit. Um, when let's see, it was probably around 92. I stopped opening anything.
Ooh.
I started to become a serious collector, and serious collectors don't open their toys.
So
So I stopped opening stuff.
So were you actually collecting? Because I always say, like, normally when I'm talking to everyone, I always say when we were kids, I don't say we were collecting. We were playing with the toys. If you were collecting, I feel like you probably had a bad childhood, unless your name is Johnny Reno, when your parents were collectors, so they'd buy one for you to save and open up the other one. But you actually started collecting.
Yes.
All
I
right.
started collecting. I started trying to complete certain runs of figures, and that was also around the time that the 12-inch GI Joes made a comeback. So I had all of the Hall of Fame A-Raw GI Joes, the
I hate
12-inch
that.
A-Raw.
I hate that so much. And a lot of people say it like that.
Well, I just like I was saying before, man. Like whenever I see an acronym, it's like for some reason my brain just makes it a word, like attack them or A-Raw or whatever. And in my work, I deal with acronyms constantly.
We just took on Xerox for their high-end machines.
Mhm.
And the first thing they say is, "We are big in acronyms." And they are not joking. They have acronyms for everything. And sometimes even the instructor was like, "I don't know what this means, so don't even ask." Oh, well, that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know there are some industries that they love their acronyms, and you're like,
Yeah,
you
like
don't
we
really
have
have to do that. It's a
all
document
kinds of stuff
feeder.
like that, man.
So what made you start like collecting as what? I mean, in middle school, you're 11, 12,
Well, I
13.
mean, it was before middle school that I started collecting.
Now, what caused it? Like, what would cause that?
I probably OCD and ADHD.
Okay.
I
W-
don't know.
Were you still opening anything up?
No,
Or everything was just
dude, I had shit displayed on the walls of my bedroom on shelves. Like, I mean, kind of like it is right now.
are you still like that?
Not as much.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
not
do
as much.
still
I
you do open
really
stuff
like packaging that I can open,
and
take
put
the
back
figure
in
out, play with it, and put it back.
Mythic Legions.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
that's
mean, even
how
classifieds and stuff.
yeah, and that's how I think the way Mythic Legions are, I think every toy that is solely sold in, either online distributor or in an actual toy show or toy shop or comic shop, that's what they all should be. I understand why classifieds can't be like that, or especially the retro stuff because they're on pegs at Target. People still do the shit, but every other one they should be able to repackage it.
I mean, it actually got to a point where it was like an obsession for me. Uh, Not only did it have to be in the package, but it had to be fucking mint. Couldn't have any blemishes whatsoever on the packaging. And then I wanted to protect the packaging with protective cases. And that turned into these. What do I do for my loose figures? How do I display my loose figures like they're in a package?
I want to talk. I want to come back to that in a little bit because you showed off a few things with like the what's the Viper that comes with? the Trench Viper.
Yeah.
And like that's awesome. Like if you want to sell that figure because you wanted, the extra portal potties or whatever, and you want to sell them, like I thought you did that really nicely. So hopefully we'll come back to that.
So Baldy actually did that with the Trench Viper. I do that without the insert.
Okay.
So the ones I have in the tall cat, like, dude, I went to the effort of getting, like, I have these made in a factory and sell them. So
Well, we'll get into what you do also because you don't really talk about it too much, but you do have an online business. But we are far from getting to that. But I definitely do want to get to it. So you get into middle school. Are you still buying stuff?
oh yeah,
Okay. Are you getting into sports or anything like that? Or
a little bit, yeah. I was in wrestling, band.
do they let people as big as you wrestle?
They did, and there was actually a kid bigger than me
No.
on another team that I wrestled against.
Okay. So, and I don't want people to be like, why are you calling him fat? How tall? How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
How tall are you in middle school?
Probably somewhere close to that, 6'2".
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
might have been.
I remember in 3rd grade I was 5'8".
5'8". What the hell was that even like?
I was taller than my teacher in 3rd grade.
Even on my skateboard, I'm not 5'8".
It sucks. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like it's not fucking great. It sucks.
We had a big kid that we had a big kid that moved or that came to the school in 5th grade, and he was so big that when we would all sit down like on the floor, they let him sit in a chair.
Yeah.
And I remember his chair breaking one year. Like just out of nowhere, it just broke.
Yeah.
It
Because
was
when
okay
you're
because
an adult, you're not built for that stuff, man.
yeah, it was okay because when he graduated, he got a Dodge Viper, so he was rich. He actually was a really good guy. He was one of the more popular people, and I wasn't popular, and I was small.
Yeah.
But my grandmother played bingo at his hall, and she went up to him one day because she found out we went to school, and she said, "You better not let anything happen to my grandson." And my grandmother was at 4'9", 100% Mexican. Like you weren't. She would whip every single one of you guys in this chat. I don't care. Like, you know what it's like, right? First off, you know how mean they can be, and then you add the Mexican, and like, all right, you know. So, middle school, you're starting to wrestle, which is crazy. I would have never guessed. If you would have told me 100 things to guess that you did sports-wise, wrestling probably would have been the last, unless it was professional wrestling.
I did basketball in elementary school.
Yeah, I would have said that. I would have said that. I would have said football.
We didn't have a football team.
Wow.
We had a great football team in like the 70s and 80s, and then they did away with it for some reason. I don't know why they stopped, but the schools here just stopped doing anything with football.
The school,
and I think they have a team again now. But
it is the biggest sport in the U.S. by far.
Is it? I don't know. I'm not into sports. I'm into shooting sports, but I mean,
oh no, football is. They say baseball is America's pastime. No, it's football, and then college football, and then probably basketball. To be honest, baseball is below it. Unfortunately, hockey's even further below that. That should be higher up. Hockey's awesome. You know, on ice.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think skateboarding should be number one, but frankly, I don't really care because I enjoy it, so I don't care if anyone else does. I don't really care. You know, I tell people like, you know, that music sucks, and people will be like, "What if I said punk rock sucks?" And I'd be like, "Oh, then you said it sucks. That doesn't bother me. I don't like. It doesn't change how I feel about it. Like, I enjoy it."
Yeah, I know that you like some of the same music, but I think that my music taste kind of goes way out there. And
you're more of a metal person.
Yeah,
I'm more of a punk rocker. I'm a full punk rocker. Like I'm like, yeah. Like there's that converging of punk and metal. And the craziest thing when it comes to that, you actually realize more metal people are into punk than punk people are into metal.
Yep.
Which is odd, but
well, there's that thrash overlap.
yes. But there's again like the punk scene was like so against metal until you realize the hardcore bands are like big metal heads.
Yeah.
And then you find out all the metal guys are like they grew up on the early punk and everything. So, but we can get into that because I know you did stuff with music. So high school comes. What are you doing in high school? Are you still collecting? Are you collecting comics? You sound like okay. So I say this, and I feel like you have. I feel like you have accepted this. Once you're a collector, you're always a collector. You collect something. If you stop collecting toys, you're gonna find there's gonna be something that you see in the store, and you're gonna go, "Hey, look, there's 4 of them. I need to buy them all." And then you're like, "Oh, hey, look,
You start collecting collections of collections."
Exactly. High school, what is it like? You're still buying stuff? Are you still collecting?
So you mentioned comic books. We used to have a little comic book store here in the town I live in, and it was ran out of this dude's house, and he sold comic books and trading cards. Then he started selling Magic the Gathering cards. So my older uncle had asked me, so I don't even know what brought it up, but I had mentioned something about being interested in comic books, and I don't even know how it came about, but he took me to the comic store, and I remember getting like 5 or 6 comics that got me started on it, and they were all Marvel.
Okay.
There was like a Ghost Rider. I don't remember like specific issues, but I think Ghost Rider was one of them, which I absolutely loved because I've also always been into horror, and that was like right up my alley. That started comic book collecting along with collecting GI Joes and all this other stuff, but I never had GI Joe comics.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And I remember going to 7-Eleven in the spinner rack that had the comics. I never kept them bagged or boarded. As a matter of fact, I still have almost all of my original GI Joes that I had. They're in awful shape. First off, they're not really worth a lot of money to begin with. They're worth even less, but they mean a lot to me because they were what I read through, and it really what helped me create my GI Joe lore in my head. MCR quickly says, did they finally approve skateboarding in the Olympics? Yes, I think they've done it twice now. I think it's been 2 years, 2 Olympics they've had it. And before you ask, I don't care. Like I know a lot of skateboarders like they ruined it for us. Why? Like I don't care. Like if I don't want to watch it, I don't have to watch it. Like just because something in the Olympics or popular doesn't change my again, it goes back to what I said. It doesn't change my enjoyment of it.
But they have breakdancing.
Not anymore. She killed it. It took one person to kill breakdancing. You know what's funny is that actually popped up on my Instagram today for some reason. And I have no idea why. So Modulak says, even after I quit collecting Joes, I kept up with the comics. One of the letter writers to the pit got me back into the collecting. Yes. I think, again, I feel like collectors, you'll find something. And I tell this all the time. Like I used to take everyone's old skateboard and hang them on my wall. I wasn't collecting per se, but when I look back, I was like, I was totally collecting and didn't even realize it.
Oh yeah, dude. At the same time that all of this stuff was happening with like GI Joe and comic books, I also got into trading cards with I remember it was probably, it would have been in like 2nd or 3rd grade. I don't remember exactly what year, but the Marvel Universe Series 1 trading cards.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first comic trading cards that I had. And dude, I've still got a bunch of those.
So I've had a few people mention that, and I'm like, I don't remember that, but I also don't remember the GI Joe ones. Yet I have a bunch of GI Joe ones that some people have sent me like one or two here and there, like when they send me something. But my ex's dad, he was a property manager, and he was cleaning out an apartment that somebody left, and there was a stack of these GI Joe cards, which I had never seen before, or if I did, I just had completely forgotten. And now I feel like I need to want to go through them and like see what they actually say. So high school, I mean, for you, I mean, you're collecting comics.
Mm-hmm.
You're still collecting GI Joes, but they got to be starting to wind down.
Yes.
You were born in 82, which means at 15, one of the greatest toy lines of all time, Power of the Force 2, came out.
Yeah.
Buff Darth Vader right here.
I had a few of those. I tried to get into them and I just couldn't.
So we started a few years ago because of our friend Alice and Troy. We started doing May the Power of the Force. And there was one person who whined and cried on the internet about how he hated seeing people review old toys. And Allison said, we should all review some old toys and get it in his algorithm and make him mad. So for the month of May in 24, everyone reviewed a Power of the Force figure because they're cheap. And then we did it last year with the trilogies, right? And I gotta say this, and Allison has actually been opening up a lot of them. She's been posting a lot of the ones she's finding because she just moved. When I look back at them, I really did enjoy them. I enjoyed them a lot more, but they ain't worth shit. So the buying one to keep in the box and one to open, that cost me a lot of money. So you didn't get into them at all?
Nope.
Nothing about it. Well, while everyone else is fiending over it, you're going there and buying the Playmate Star Trek figures, is what you're saying.
No, dude, I bought G.I. Joe Sergeant Savage. I was buying Sergeant Savage. Fucking loved it.
I'll say this. I hated Sergeant Savage because it was the wrong scale.
Yes, and that bothered me too, even back then. And here's another funny part of that. Like, I opened up a couple of them and messed with them, and then I just bought the rest of them and left them carded.
So here's my thing with Sergeant Savage. And again, I was still young, and I wanted to put them with the G.I. Joe, with the other G.I. Joe. I think the biggest problem with Sergeant Savage is they're the wrong scale. Unlike when people say classified is the wrong scale, classified you cannot fit with an O-ring figure. But right. Sergeant Savage looked like it was close enough until you put it next to it, and then you went,
well, he was like the height of Visionaries.
Yes.
And Visionaries looked like they should be a G.I. Joe because they were an O-ring figure constructed just like G.I. Joe, but they didn't fit.
And I think Sergeant Savage, I think that will be a great, if they ever get to do that in classified, I think they knock it out of the park.
Oh yeah, they've done it in several other lines. They did it in, I think they did it in the 12-inch Valor versus Venom. Maybe they did it in like just a full 12-inch scale when the 12-inch A-Raw figures were coming out.
Allison says nobody bought Star Trek Playmates. You can get those even cheaper than Power of the Force 2. I disagree. People did buy them. I know I bought some.
Oh, I know people bought them.
But you are not wrong because they might be the only one on card that is cheaper than an on-card Power of the Force 2 figure. That's why when they just re-released them in the past like 3 years, people were like, I can buy the original for cheaper than that on card. And they're almost the exact same. So why are you doing this? Like, There's no benefit for me, playmates, but they do it with the turtles all the time too. Like, here you go, more turtles.
Yeah.
Like, didn't we just get those like 3 years ago? Like, I don't collect turtles, so I don't have to worry about it. I already have too much stuff, like ET right there. ET.
Is that a statue?
Did I tell you? I told you about this on. This is ceramic. My mom used to do ceramics with my grandmother. My grandmother had a kiln.
Same.
So this was one of the things that she did. And when Speck said that ET used to creep him out, I went downstairs and got it and brought it up here.
Yeah, that was a family activity for us, was painting and firing ceramics.
No, we never
We
did.
have a kiln. We would take it to the ceramic shop and have them fired.
Yeah, no. So I never did it. So my dad's mom, she did it. So all the, all the sister, all her daughter-in-laws and her one daughter would do ceramics and stuff. And so I have, like, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see the Santa and Mrs. Claus with the G.I. Joes around it that I just took pictures of. Those were two of the things my mom made. She painted them. Those ones she never glossed over, though. There's a couple of ceramic dogs that she made that I have. So she used to do all these ceramics, and I kept some of them. But this, and my kids thought it was creepy, and I just kind of left it there. But they didn't grow up on ET.
Yeah.
So it didn't dawn on me. But when Specs said he was creeped out by it, I brought it up here. And I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty creepy. But then at Ross, I found ET for like $17, and his heart glows.
That's actually pretty fucking cool.
There's another ET also there at a different Ross that I was like, oh, this one has this has a speak and spell that's all wired in. The other one has the actual speak and spell. Like, I should have just bought it.
So,
all right.
High school. When G.I. Joe wasn't coming out, that was, I think a lot of that time was when, like, the 12-inch series was still coming out. So, I mean, I was still getting those, still keeping them all sealed and mint on shelves and all that stuff. But around like 15, 16 or so, I was more into comic books.
Okay.
And when I started driving, it was more about getting high and playing Magic the Gathering. So,
which, according to Baldy, he says he doesn't know what Magic the Gathering. I'm like, bullshit! Don't tell me you don't know what Magic is.
yeah.
So we, one of my best friends, he was big into Magic.
Mm-hmm.
They played D&D, but the Magic came along, and I never got it. They played their Street Fighter, and I wanted to go skateboard. Like, I'm gonna ride my skateboard, whatever. Especially when I turned 16, 17. I found new friends that were skating all the time, and then I'd hang out with them at night or whatever.
Yeah.
And he recently, his wife recently posted on Facebook and tagged him, and that's how I saw it, and said that their kids asked, "Hey, Dad, we want to learn how to play Magic." And she's like, the glimmer in his eye, watching him go, oh, it finally happened. I'm guessing his kids right after that were like, I never want to play this again, Dad. I never want to play this again with you.
So, my wife actually got me back into playing Magic because she used to play, like, competitively all the time and was big into it. And she's one of those people that, like, has every card in the deck that she's playing memorized, along with everything that it does, what it works with, and how she can just completely destroy your enjoyment with it. And
that sounds like my buddy. My buddy he's a chemical engineer, so he's super smart. So I can only imagine he probably remembered every single card, like you said, were in his deck and everything. And I was like, I remember them trying to show us how to play it, and me and another buddy were like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this."
So, my wife and I have been together for 8 years, and I've beaten her twice.
Wow.
I'm not good, like, I just play for fun.
So this is what you do, and this will really stick at her. But next time you win, you say, I'm the champion. I'm retiring now. Every match now will be just an exhibition, so you can never win the title again. It now she may not know that you're playing for a title, but it's kind of like I have a
Right.
Dodge Journey. So when I pull up to a Corvette at the light and it turns green and I go and I beat them, they may not know that we're racing, but that's not the point. I mean, they may also be turning left or right,
Right.
but they don't know that we're racing. But in my head, my Dodge Journey with almost 300 horsepower has blown away that ZR1 Corvette. Dodge Vipers turning left, you better look out.
That's awesome.
And then you retire as champion. It's that simple. And then when you tell people, like when you tell them that, oh, you will watch them get so mad. We weren't fighting, we weren't playing for the title. Oh, we were. You didn't announce it. But I announced that I retired as champion. And this is reason 843 why I'm still single at almost 50. So high school, you are collecting all this stuff. Are you getting into music or anything?
So I didn't really start getting into like I'd always been to music, like just listening to music, but I didn't start like going to shows and stuff till I was like 17, 18.
Okay.
And the first concert that I went to was Ozfest in 2000.
All right.
And from there, it was like a bunch of like every single local show that I could hit, I was in it.
Again, I'm not a arena person. I'm a club guy. All the punk shows, they were at clubs. There's something very special about
Yes.
being with people. Nobody's sitting down. The band's right there. Sometimes the opening bands or even the headlining band will be out walking around there.
Mhm.
You know, again, these big shows, they can't do that. They can't just walk around without
Right.
getting mobbed. And there is something very special about it. There is something very special because there's there's a small community. Like same with the toys. And if you're in the pit and you fall down, more than likely someone's going to help you get back up. Hopefully you're not with there's not a bunch of assholes around you that want to kick you when you fall. There's
Right.
always that one guy. There's always that one guy that doesn't understand. We're not trying to hurt people in the pit. It happens, but you're not trying to.
So like 16, 17, every weekend was a trip to like record stores, comic shops, and like we had some really good small independent record stores here.
Do you still have any?
Nope.
Ours, yeah, we had two good ones, and they both eventually closed down. Now, again, I'll be honest, if it's not on this, I don't really want it. I'm not a vinyl guy, so if it's not on my phone, I don't really want it. So I guess I contributed to it. But same with the toy stores. We used to what seemed like for like such a long drive. Now it's like, yeah, I drive by that place all the time, and it's like 40 minutes from my house. I drive by it for work all the time. You don't even think about it now. But so what was the music you got into?
So some of the earlier stuff was, well, I don't know, man, like just hard rock and heavy metal, mostly some older punk.
So what was it? Because I talk about being in the punk scene and everything, and it's like it is a really close community. But the punk scene came from skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
You're skateboarding. Early on, it was punk. It became rap, which I liked earlier rap, but the later stuff where you can't understand it, I don't.
Was never really into it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like NWA and like EPMD and stuff like that, Public Enemy. But
yeah,
if you really look at that early rap, there's so much punk aspect to it and how a lot of the lyrics are. And then once it became like all this mainstream rap, I just was like, yeah, skateboarding music sucks. There's no more metal. There's no punk. What was it about metal that kind of you gravitated to?
I don't know, man. I think some of it was probably like song content. I got really deep into Iced Earth,
Okay.
which led me into Demons and Wizards, which led me into Blind Guardian, the fantasy aspect of all that stuff.
So when you said lyrically, what are you looking for lyrically, like when you're listening to music?
It depends on my mood, I guess.
Okay.
Um, here lately, it's been more like weird science shit.
Okay. Because I always tell people, like for me, like one of the things about punk was like, it's not that I can't like music, that I don't say that I don't understand, but I don't live that life. But like when it comes to like music and especially like having the passion for it, punk is so um it's so built about around society,
Yeah.
friendship. Like when I'm singing a lot, like it has to relate to how I feel inside. Um and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of like no effects and stuff where I'm never gonna agree with most of their stuff.
Yeah.
Gutter mouth, like shit like that. So like heavy metal, as much as I like the music and a lot of heavy metal, a lot of the lyrics never did anything for me.
I like
Except for Anthrax Persistence of Time, which like all those lyrics on that album are fucking amazing.
I like stories.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good way to put it.
And that's one of the reasons why I liked Iced Earth so much.
And
Is
that's what I was
because all
trying
of their music was stories.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Like
Yeah.
again, it's so it's telling a story. So
Mhm.
you're listening to a story, and I've always been one of those people. I believe very few bands can survive by changing the singer, because the singer is normally the one usually writing the majority of the lyrics.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless somebody else is writing the lyrics.
Yeah, but it is like they're a lot of times singing, and it's the passion that's coming out of them.
Yeah.
So I know when like Pennywise, they have one album that the singer left, and I love that album. But to hear the new singer for that for the short time he was in the band sing the old songs, is like some of these things are so personal, like the loss of a friend who took his own life. Like,
Yeah.
how do you sing that? And I remember reading in an article where, because the two singers didn't know each other, he went over there and said, "Hey, you need to explain to me what's going through your head when you're writing this and singing the song. Because if I'm not there, how can I actually have the same passion that you did singing these songs?" You know, again, I guess anyone could sing Jump and not be like, like, I really got to believe that I'm going to jump.
So Iced Earth was one of those bands that's had multiple different vocalists over different periods of time. One of the vocalists that is my favorite because I love his voice and I love the way that he sings these songs is Matt Barlow.
Okay.
And he's in other bands. He's also I think he's a state trooper in Maine, maybe.
Oh, wow.
But the vocalist they had when Matt left was Tim Owens, who had also replaced Rob Halford in Judas Priest.
Okay.
So I think that like his the greatest thing that they did with him that really made him shine, and you kind of have to be into history for this one as well, but on Iced Earth's album The Glorious Burden, there is a trilogy of songs called the Gettysburg Trilogy, and dude, Tim Owens' voice just it shines in a way that just reaches in and touches part of you inside.
Okay. And you have to love that. And again,
Yeah.
when it comes to certain genres of music that the radio man doesn't tell you is good, you're not a sheeple, Yeah. You have to love the voice. And I go back to Sepultura, right? I understand they've been around a long time after they switched over lead singers, but I'm sorry, that's not Sepultura.
No,
You know, you lost the Cavalieras, and they were the ones that made the band. It was already bad enough that the one brother left. And I remember reading an article. Have you ever listened to Cavalera Conspiracy?
no, I'm not.
So him and his brother got back together. All the songs sound like the original Sepultura. And I was reading in an article, or I was reading comments about it, and someone was like, "This just sounds like old Sepultura." And I was like, "You think so?" Because the drummer and the guitarist, who are brothers, who started the band, who one's the singer, do you think that there's a reason why it sounds like the original Sepultura? Maybe because they wrote all the music, and this is really, the extension of what it should be.
Yeah.
you know but yeah, I've always had an issue with like new singers, and again, sometimes it works. Black Flag has had like 84 different lead singers.
Well,
And
there's another band I really love that has done that same thing. They're called Allegion. They're a relatively newer technical death metal type band. They've had, I want to say they've had 3, and now they're back to one of the others. So,
and again, for me, and I know we've talked about Sick of It All before, and unfortunately the cancer has come back with the singer Lou. Now, of course, Lou and his brother are the ones that started the band, and they've had the exact same lineup since I think 92. I couldn't imagine them getting someone else to replace him, because I don't think he's going to sing again, because he has throat cancer. So even if he makes it, I don't know how you can. His vocal cords are going to be a complete mess, and he has a specific.
yeah.
Like he'll say, "I don't sing, I scream," right? But it's like you can't replace that. Like that sound is all him. Now,
Right.
Black Flag did it because it was early with Keith Morris, but you couldn't change the singer of the Circle Jerks. It's Keith Morris. It's a very distinct voice that you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Now,
But-
with these other bands, I would say the same is true.
yeah,
But I think that when they've changed singers, that they've found a way to still be like what makes them, just having a different voice with it.
and also I feel like if you get to the point where you've created enough new music, you can start to leave some of the old music behind.
Yeah.
Because it represented the singer that was there. You keep some of the songs. And it sucks for me because, like I said, I love the Pennywise album with the different singer, and he only did one album, and then the old singer came back, and Jim will never sing those songs. So it's like, there's a lot of good songs, and you're the one that quit the band. You're the one that quit. They didn't kick you out. You quit, and then they asked you to come back. When Zoli was like, "I can't fucking deal with you guys anymore."
Yeah, see, that's like whenever Matt left Iced Earth, it was because he couldn't commit to touring like John wanted to, and he wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement. And he actually helped pick. He had already been in the band, had left once. Tim Owens came in. Tim Owens left. Matt came back. And then Matt left again because he couldn't commit to touring like John wanted to. So he actually helped pick his replacement, who ended up being Stu Block from Into Eternity.
Okay.
I love Into Eternity.
But how many times have you heard a band that you like and the singer takes over another band you like, and then you're like, "This sucks"?
Yeah, I mean that wasn't the case with this, but I will say that like Stu was not my favorite vocalist with Iced Earth.
And I go back to Armored Saint, who I was like, Armored Saint sounds like Joey Belladonna from Anthrax. And then Joey's kicked out. They bring that guy over, and he sounds nothing like Anthrax. And I'm like, how did you do this? How did he fuck up? He sounded just like him, but then gets here, and now he sounds nothing like him.
There's Exodus is another band that's. Hang on, Anthrax vocalist.
I can't think of his name. Sound of White Noise. It was literally white noise.
So they've had Joey Belladonna, John Bush.
John Bush was the
Bush
one.
was actually not one of my favorites. Matt Fallon, Neil Turbin, Tommy Wise, Jason Rosenfeld, John Connolly, and Dan Nelson, all as vocalists for Anthrax.
But again, I didn't know that Scott Ian is the one that writes all the music for them.
Oh, really?
It's his band.
Okay. So Joey's actually the current vocalist for Anthrax.
Yep, he brought him back. And if you ever read or listen to anything where Scott talks about when he fired Joey, they all just went along with it. They were like, whatever, dude. It's basically your band. Like if you feel like it's not gonna work, then and he goes, we've talked about it, and we were like, he came to me after everything. He goes, I could have sang the songs you wanted. Because he goes, I felt I needed something. I didn't feel like he could do it. And he was like, you never even asked if I could sing the songs. Like, I could have sang the way you wanted it too. And he goes, he totally could have, but I was young and stupid and all that other stuff. You brought up Exodus. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I hate these bands, or why you... Exodus, Fabulous Disaster is an awesome fucking album.
Yep.
But his voice is so distinct compared to the original singer, who I think was it Blood for Blood? I just couldn't. I forget which one there was one before it that I couldn't stand, and then he left. And I think he went to Testament.
Steve Souza.
Is that who it was?
Yep.
I think he went to Testament, right? One of them went from Testament either there, and I'm like, that just didn't work.
It didn't work with him being in Testament. I don't think that. Yeah,
because his voice is very distinct.
Yes,
like Keith Morris of the Circle Jerks, and again, I'm sorry if no one's a punk rocker, but go listen to Early Black Flag. That is Keith Morris, and then you hear Henry Rollins. They have completely different styles.
Yes.
Keith Morris has a very raspy voice.
Tempo of the Damned is one of my favorites. One of my favorite albums from them.
But
from Exodus.
I was into that when I was younger, and then the punk scene came along, and that really ended everything. I was just like, I'm all fucking punk. People are like you're very short-sighted on what you like. I'm like, I like what I like, dude.
I've had people say the same thing about me, that I've got like a real narrow window of like what I like, and then that's kind of true.
They're like, all you like is punk. I'm like, I like 80s music, I like 60s music, I like some metal, I like some early rap. But you're right. I don't like new music unless it was like punk rock. Like then I enjoy it.
There's not much new music I like either.
Yeah,
it takes something specific to get me interested in a new band.
Yes. Very, very few times have I gone to a show and you actually hear the opening band and you're like, I actually like this. And then you find out who they are and you try and do their, you pick up their stuff. But anyway, we really got off on the music.
I could talk about music and toys all night, dude.
Again, like this is So, did you graduate high school?
Yes.
Okay, I only asked this because I was asked. I once said, "Hey, when you graduated high school," and the person said, "I didn't graduate." And I went, "Son of a bitch."
Man, like that's a whole topic that we can get into if you want to.
Graduating?
Just school in general.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Did you go on to college or did you go right into the workforce?
I did. I went on to college.
Okay.
And I dropped out.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Because one of the things that growing up in my generation, which I'm Zennial, that little pocket generation between Gen X and millennials.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Like we had, or at least in my experience, I had no direction. I had no guidance. It was all trying to sell us all into a college career, trying to sell us into loans, trying to make us go to college under this this lie of all that matters is that you have a degree, and once you have a degree, you'll have a six-figure job waiting for you when you're done.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what your degree's in, as long as you go to college, as long as you get a degree, that's all that matters. And like, dude, I was one of the kids that they tried, like, they wanted to put me in the GATE program when I was in like third grade. Gifted and talented, whatever. It was
I thought you said the gay program, and I was like, whatever.
So,
I mean,
like, I had to. I was having problems in school.
Okay.
And like I was talkative. I didn't pay attention, and you know, like later on at a point, like they thought I was cheating on tests and stuff because I just didn't do homework, or I just didn't turn in homework or whatever. But yet I could pass exams.
Sound like my son when he was in high school.
And when I was in third grade, they tried to put me in this like special advanced school. It was a little school all on its own. And they did like advanced work. And like I had to go see a counselor and take assessment tests and stuff because they thought there was something wrong with me. And they figured out I was just bored. And like the first thing I asked about, like they took me to this school and had me talk to the kids and had me talk to the teacher. And the first thing I asked was, well, do you have homework? And one of the kids was like all excited, like, yeah, we have homework every day. And I knew right then, like it wasn't anything I was interested in. So I didn't go. They gave me a choice. They shouldn't have given me a choice. But later on, like in high school and whatnot, man, it was literally just this like pushing and preparing for college with no guidance. It was like, it doesn't matter what you go for. And I wish that I had some solid form of guidance to help me identify strengths.
Okay.
To help me determine what I wanted to get a degree in. I think that would have been a lot more helpful and would not have resulted in me dropping out of college because I just hated it.
That I can see, because I know a lot of people, they do a lot of those assessments that you're like, this is what you're going to be good at. This is what you're. Sometimes they work out. Other times you're like, yeah, I don't know about that because, you know, we took this assessment at work and my boss was like, I already know how everyone's going to turn out, you know, and it was like, like mine was like, I'm really good at multitasking, but I get really mad about it because like I'm the head technician. So they'll pull me off like in the middle of fixing a copy machine and I get aggravated because half the time it's pulling me off to do something that every other tech should be able to do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, hey, so-and-so needs your advice here. And you're like, this is fucking, you know, the first year shit that someone should know on copy machines. Why have they even tried this? No. Well, fucking tell them to go do it. You know?
Yeah. See, and like, and what I do for work now pretty much aligns with what I should have gone to college for. I'd be making more money.
Yeah.
But, you know, metrology and problem solving, stuff like that.
Okay. So when you graduated, were you also working?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're working, but you're also going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And are you still collecting or anything?
Oh, yeah.
So you never really got out of collecting. You were always buying stuff.
I was always into G.I. Joe.
Okay. So you're one of the rare. I know Ed, he, you know, my moderator, Action Figs, he was always collecting. There's a few guys that said, yeah, I never got out of it. And I know for me, I definitely did. I found skateboarding and that was it. I mean, I collected after a while. I take that back. I kept everything. I could kind of hoard some stuff from time to time.
I know I show this from time to time, but one of the reasons why I'm so into these the Valor versus Venom figures.
Hold on. Okay.
I would love to see this in the classified line for one, but my best friend at the time, whenever these came out, we were working together at Walmart, and like these went into the store, and we would buy stuff like before it even hit the shelves. We were stocking the shelves. There was still enough coming in that
I know about guys like you, the Target employees.
Scalpers! Yeah, dude, we were just buying them for ourselves. We weren't like selling them or anything. And like there were so many of them coming into the store that didn't affect anything. But
yeah,
like we would go around on weekends to all the different stores, all the different Walmarts, all the different like we'd hit up 2 or 3 Toys R Us stores just looking for stuff we didn't have because there was so much of it coming out.
There is something to me comes to collecting. Pretty much I can get anything online. We all can.
Yeah.
There is something special about going into Target and getting that exclusive the day that it drops. There's something special about there's anything special about finding it at Walmart. Like if you find something at Walmart, like I might have it and I'll be like, oh my God, I found it. I should just buy it because you don't actually find anything in Walmart. At least no exclusives. At least not where I'm at.
Dude, I feel like online, much as it has destroyed music and shows, it's also destroyed the fun
Matthew's
part
right.
of collecting the hunt.
Matthew says the app says you have this. Produce it now, or I will make a scene.
Dude. There's
Pokemon
I think it's like
guy.
I think it's Meat Canyon. Did I send that to you guys? Where the dude's standing at the counter. Oh, I'll have to find it and send it to you because I think Matthew probably saw that, and because that's exactly what this says. The app says you have one in stock or some shit.
It's crazy, and I'll tell you this: I was leaving Target one day. It was in the morning, and there were people lining up for the Pokemon cards, and I could already see how they were starting to act. And I was like, God damn, these guys make us seem mature. The G.I. Joe collectors that have thrown it says you have 4 of them. Will you go in the back and get it? Their job is not to drop everything that they're doing right then and go help you, especially if you're a dick to them. I don't know why that's so. I asked a woman not too long ago if she could check if they have these. She said, yeah, it looks like they have it, but we're not to go in the back and find anything. And I said, okay. And I started walking away and she goes, hold on one second. And I went, what? And she goes, let me go. And I'm like, no, you're busy. And she's like, hold on. And she had to go to 2 different sections to get me. They only had 3 of the 4 figures. She went to 2 different sections because I just said, oh, hey, you know what? Cool. No problem. Thank you very much. And I walked away. And she stopped me. And I actually remembered her from another Target that she helped me get something. I go, do you used to work at the other Target? And she goes, yeah. I go, you helped me out then too. And she's like, you were very polite about it. So if I can fucking be nice, so can other people.
Dude, I agree, but like I think I've talked about this Dirks, man. The last time that I went hunting for something at Target was for the Cobra Island Vipers when they came out, and it was just an absolute shit show. That was at the same time that another Target in a neighboring town over like some kind of, I guess, sports card or something.
Oh wow!
They had like robbed them at gunpoint over some cards, and I knew what they had coming out. They had like 6 of them, and it was me and a bunch of other people. And of course, you get people that are like running back and pissed off because they weren't hanging on the shelf. And I knew they were going to be in electronics, so I walk over to electronics, and they're like, "Oh, we have them." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't have them?" And I pull it up. I'm like, "The inventory is dropping, and you're saying that you don't have them." and one of the people that worked there was like trying to get them. It ended up only having, yeah. And that was when the like I wasn't rude or anything in any way, and the my wife was actually with me, and when the man like flipped out and was like, "You people come in here and blah 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 and harass my associates," and it's like, you people.
What do you mean?
I don't even come in here. I haven't been here but this time. And that was when he ended up apologizing and telling me like what had happened at the Target that was over in the next town. And,
okay.
Like it just, that entire experience ruined like getting out and hunting anything down, because I mean, dude, people were just like trying to grab up anything they could to flip for a buck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember those Vipers too, because I knew exactly when they were coming out. I showed up there. There was another guy there. I bought one at one store, and then I went to another store, and I wanted to get two. Another guy was there, and the guy brought out the case of 6. The other guy was like, "Well, I'm getting 2 for me and 2 for my brother," and I was like, "Well, I just want 2." And he was like, "Do you want another one?" He's like, "Do you want 3?" I'm like, "I just need 2." And I came home, I had 3. And I said, and I just happened to be looking at my son came downstairs, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I just bought these. I'm thinking if I should put one on eBay." And, well, how much are they going for? I'm like, they go for like $80 or $90. And he goes, "Why don't you just try and sell one?" I put on eBay for like $30. I think they were 20 at the time. And I'm like, if someone buys it for 30, then they're getting a good deal. But it sold for like, I think $85 or $90. So I paid for all 3 figures. I don't do that very often. I got lucky. And I didn't go to every single Target. I could have continued to go down every single Target and buy more. I chose not to, because I'm like, I guess I was that collector that said, leave one for the next guy.
Yeah. Like most of that stuff, man, if it was something that like that, like I'm pretty particular in like what I go for as far as classified. Like I want, if it's a character, if named character, I keep 1. If it's an army builder or troop builder type thing, I do 2. I've limited myself to 2. So that's kind of what I did for all of that stuff when it was coming out. Except for the Cobra Island Troopers that I have 6 of, because there's 3 variations and I have 2 of each variation.
What are the variations? I know there's there's the gray neck, right?
Now there's the blue collar, there's the
Blue
black collar, and then there's
Yep.
the black waist.
Okay. So I don't again, like that doesn't, I have everyone numbered. I didn't buy the field variants. The only field variant I have is Roadblock, and that's because I found them for $8 at like Burlington. I'm like, I'll buy for $8.
Yes, I've got all the field variants. I've got all the variations of everything throughout the line, except for the movie Storm Shadow. I don't have the eye color variation on him. I only have one of them. As a matter of fact, he's right there, and I need to pull him out and see which one I have, so that when I go to this toy show next month, I can look for variant.
You really want to buy another movie Storm Shadow?
Yes. Because it's not complete if I don't have it.
See, I feel different. Like I'm not a completionist with every variation. I have every figure, at least one of every figure, when it comes to that. And the only one that I look at that's different is the Regal Cobra Commander, because he's a completely different paint scheme, and he has a different name for it. And yes, Matthew says that's a serious problem. That's how I was about the Power of the Force 2 figures. I was buying all those long lightsabers, and then they came the short sabers. And then they had the short sabers with the long tray. I was buying them all. Boba Fett with the half moon, Boba Fett with the whole moon, Boba Fett with the half moon, and the 01 on the. I was buying all of them.
Yeah.
This Luke Skywalker right here, but Luke Skywalker also had a brown vest. I had to have them both. You know how much they're worth? Nothing.
Shit.
I might be able to sell my shit for more.
Yeah, dude, I gotta find him. I will find him eventually. It's not that important to me, or I would have already had it.
Yeah.
It's not as important to me as it was to have the black Cobra Troopers from
And
Canada.
again, probably because they were on the shelves forever.
Mm-mm.
What?
Those never hit the market in the U.S.
Which
as
one?
far as I know. Black Waste Troop.
No, I'm talking about Storm Shadow.
Oh, yeah, they probably were, and I didn't even know.
Yeah,
it
the movie
existed.
figures. No, like those ones I can understand because, again, those were hard to find for a while. But I like that doesn't bother like that. I don't worry about that. But again, everyone collects differently. I'm just glad I didn't.
So Matthew says that he had both of the beachhead colors. There's actually 3 of them.
And you have them?
Yeah.
What are the? I know they had the green eyes and the blue eyes, right?
Gray,
Gray.
green,
And then
blue,
what-
gray.
See, I don't care about that. But enjoy. All right, so you're working. You said you dropped out of school. You're still collecting.
Mhm.
Now, what is it like? I mean, what else are you doing? Because didn't you get into music?
I did. Yes, I got to music when I was 20. I was 20.
Okay.
No, I was younger than that. I was like 19 when I first got into playing music, when I first
Okay.
got into a band.
And now, how long did you play in a
But
band?
yeah, that
for?
was like going to a bunch of local shows and then just being like, I love this so much, I want to do it.
Okay. And what?
I love this so much, I want to.
Was there a specific instrument you played?
I vocalist.
You what?
But yes, I actually do play or did play saxophone.
Okay. So, what kind of music were you playing?
Metal. Wait a minute, on saxophone or singing?
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. What? So you don't play instruments?
Saxophone had nothing to do with like my band ordeal.
Okay. So you were a singer, but you didn't play any instruments. Okay. Can you play drums, guitar, or anything?
No,
Okay.
I'm pretty talentless.
But you can scream. I haven't heard you
Yes.
sing. So I'm just gonna go with you are probably a screamer.
Both actually.
Okay.
Clean vocals too.
Really? So what kind of music were you guys playing?
I like just metal, heavy rock, I guess. When we
All right,
first started out, we didn't really know what we were doing,
Okay.
and we were just kind of like making up shit in the garage until.
Wow. I guess Terry does the same thing here as he does on Circle of Jerks, and I guess the show is over. Like, anyway, if you guys know Terry, that's what he does. He just just fuck. I was trying to figure out the perfect time to do it
Yeah.
because everyone said if Terry just bounces in the middle of the interview, that will be awesome. I'm like, it would be, but it'd be awful too because I don't even know. Like Brady said, I thought I got the over. And how messed up would it be that Coda just shows up right? All right. If anyone is watching and they don't watch Circle of Jerks, usually an hour and a half in, Terry has to bounce. And he doesn't say goodbye to anyone other than Ken. Oh, we didn't say hi to Ken. Hi, Ken. He just leaves. And it will literally be in the middle of him saying something that he just bounces. So hope you guys enjoyed. All right, so I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, the music. What?
Yeah. So I'm like 19, 20, whatever, and got together with some friends, and we decided we were going to start a band. And at this point in time, like, music is huge. It's like just big banging local shows, hundreds of people coming out to shows. This is before Facebook. And like, we had to go around and post up flyers at wherever would let us hang them, and get people to like actually organically come out to a show. And we did a lot of really cool stuff, man. Like, our drummer and bassist were stepbrothers, and their parents realized we weren't just making noise in the garage, and that we were actually doing something cool, and agreed to match us. They offered to match us, like, whatever we put in, whatever we made, whatever we put in toward recording an album, they would match us on it and help us get an album recorded. And we ended up going to a full out recording studio and recording there. We put out an album that we sold, I don't know how many copies of, but we had it made, we had it produced, and we had radio play, we had radio interviews, we played music festivals, we did all kinds of stuff. And then it just started kind of falling apart. Like, people, like, dude, if you musicians are the fucking worst. I
have a good friend that he was a singer of a punk band, like that screamo hardcore band. And he went all over the world. And he said, you don't know what it's like to be in a van with a guy that's your roommate and hate the way that he breathes because you spent so much time with him.
Yep. Yeah, dude. It's bad. Like, we were getting ready to play a music festival at Kentucky Kingdom, the Mom's Music Festival. Like, dude, this was such a big deal to us. We were all young. And
the Mom's Music Festival?
So Mom's Music is a huge thing here. It's a music store. It's a school of rock.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were putting on a festival at Kentucky, at Six Flags. And we were getting to play that. And it was like the morning of that show, the morning of us getting ready to go down there, like, one of the guitarists didn't show up. And we couldn't get him to answer the phone. And like, one of the guys ran out to his house, and he was in bed asleep. Wakes him up, and he's like, yeah, I can't go. Why the fuck not, dude? Well, I had to pawn my rig. Like, he had pawned his amp, his 412 cab, and everything for what we don't know. And never said anything to anybody about it. And us getting ready to go down to play this, like, big music festival where, like, I don't know if you know who Tantric is.
No.
Or Days of the New. They were really big from here. And, like, I mean, like, globally big. And they were going to be there. We were supposed to, like, get to meet them and shit. And, like, he just pawns his rig like it's nothing. So, like, we ended up having to go get this guy's equipment out of pawn so that we could go play this show.
And see, that's got to be frustrating.
It is.
When someone doesn't have the same passion that you do. And especially if they're in the show, they're in the group with you. And if someone doesn't have the same passion, how do you continue on? When someone just did, like, again, it'd be one thing if he was like, hey, you know what? Listen, I don't really want to continue to play here. I don't want to continue playing the band, but we have this gig and I'm going to help you guys. I'm going to stick around until you guys find someone to replace me. I know for me with skateboarding, and I always say there's people who skateboard and then there are skateboarders. No better, no worse. And I'm a skateboarder. Like, to this day, I still see handrails and ledges, right? I was good. I wasn't great. And then there are guys that are way better than me, way more talent. and they're just people who skateboard. They don't need to. They can put it down and not care. And it would drive me nuts, even to this day, that it drives me nuts when I see that someone has so much talent, but doesn't have the drive. And I'm here like, man, I have this drive and I don't have the talent, and I could do it all fucking day, especially if I had that. And I can only imagine being in a band with someone, and if you have 3 or 4 people that are fully committed, and then you have one that just does something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's like the other guitarists. Like, dude, I've done this. I did this. I'm not doing it anymore. But I did this for like 20 years of my life, off and on with some of the same people throughout that whole 20 years. And it's like, one of the guys, when we were doing this stuff, he was a professional painter. Like, he painted houses and shit.
Okay.
And like, his work was always holding him back from doing stuff. He would have to show up at shows that we agreed to play wearing his paint whites, covered in paint, get up on stage and play. People probably thought it was like part of a costume or something, but like, he would literally come straight there from a job site and play.
Well, people get to know, like, if he's doing that, people probably expect him and they probably don't realize it's what he's doing.
Right. And that lasted a while. That band split up. Me and that guitarist got together with a new drummer, new bassist, started up something else. That went really well for a while, and we played again. We started building up a fan base. We started recording. We started, playing a lot of shows and playing with a lot of bigger bands. And then for some, like, I don't know, I guess things in my life weren't going real well at that point in time, and they ended up kicking me out and bringing somebody else in without telling me.
Oh.
And that lasted all of like 3 months after. And they realized nobody else was doing anything but me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they split up, and then I was in another band somewhere else. I joined a band in Louisville, and it was too far for me to drive. It was like an hour each way.
Okay.
And so it didn't work out. It was a lot of fun, but it just didn't work out. So I ended up getting back with that same guitarist again and forming another band. And, like, we started doing great things with that one too. Had a revolving door of bassists and drummers for a while. And COVID ended up killing out all of that.
Sherlock, I lie a lot. And look, Sherlock, a member for 14 months, so you get the
Fucking Phil Collins.
Yeah, I have a buddy, and he said that a couple guys that play in bands, and he goes, so in the punk scene in Detroit, he goes, there's really like 20 musicians that play punk, and we just swap band members for new bands. And they do the exact same thing. They're like, yeah, pretty much. Like, I'm in like 3 bands with this one guy here, but we use this drummer for this one. And, one's like a punk, one's more hardcore, one's just like reggae type punk. It's like you get all these different characters. You ever listen to Suicide Machines?
Nope.
It used to be Jack Kevorkian and the Suicide Machines. You know who Jack Kevorkian is, right? Dr. Death. He was.
I know who Jack Kevorkian, the actual guy, is.
Yeah, so they called themselves Jack Kevorkian and the Suicide Machines. But they got sued, so they had to drop Jack Kevorkian, so they're just the Suicide Machines. And he's in like all kinds of bands, like the singer, like he's in all these bands. And I was at a show, and he's like, he wasn't the main singer of this one band, and he's like, I can't remember what bands I sing in and what songs go on each band. You can only imagine like how many, again, like, how many, if you're playing all these different, in all these different bands, and some you sing, sometimes you just play. It's one of those. Yes, it's hard to say that. You're right. I should have said the self-delete machines. All right. So as this is going on, how is work going? Like, are you in a career now? Do you have a steady job, or
I am now.
well, I mean, while you're playing?
Well, yeah.
Okay. And when do you meet your wife?
So I met my wife in November of 2017.
Right. So Joe fan, I highlighted you saying hi. I don't always stop and say hi to everyone because we're in the middle of a conversation, but I highlighted it. You can go back and look. So I've already gone down, and I'm not saying you are Joe fan. I've gone down the road where people have messaged me afterwards going, it's clearly you don't like me because you ignore all my comments. And I'm like, what? Like, even to the point where like I'd ask Matthew, and Matthew would be like, dude, he made like 2 comments. I'm like, yeah, I know. And like I'd show my moderators, and it's like, wow, like, okay. So don't take it. I highlighted it. Just like I highlighted Ken and didn't say hi to Ken that one day. That's how hi Ken came along, because someone got really mad we didn't say hi to Ken. I'm like, I highlighted it. All right. So you're working full time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is it like trying to date and have this huge collection? Do you have any issues? Because it's not and again, it's one of those things where you meet someone and you tell someone, hey, I collect toys. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. And you're like, no, I collect toys. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's cool. And then they finally walk in your house and they go, oh my God, you collect toys. And you're like, I told you I collect toys. And they're like, yeah, but you like really, yes, I fucking know. Do you want to go see my skateboard collection too?
You want to see my dolls?
So how does that go? How do you like approach?
Okay, so like I've had a few relationships, and it's never been a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never had one that's just like, okay. That's
either
nice.
Like long-term relationships, no, because I've always been careful in that aspect to get involved with someone who doesn't have a problem with my interests.
Hi, it's me says, it's not hard because I also collect handcuffs and chains.
So my last relationship was like quite a few years, and it was something I did throughout the entirety of that relationship.
Okay.
So I mean, it was always a thing. It's never been like an overbearing aspect of my life. It's just something that I do. So I met my wife 8 years ago, and she knew I had like a whole room set up in my house. Didn't talk to her about any of it until later on when we started talking about interests. But like,
I mean, I also never let her in the room either. So,
I mean, it has an effect on women, dude. But that's also one of the things that my wife and I had in common when we met. We were into nerd shit, both of us. So she was big into Magic the Gathering at one point. You mentioned. Yeah. That had become less, at that point in time. But she still played some. So I mean, she was familiar with right, but yeah, I mean, she knew about it. She actually is extremely supportive of it and encourages all this stuff
Okay.
to the point where, like, I set up at toy shows. She goes with me and isn't like the bored girlfriend or the bored wife that just kind of fucks off and does whatever. Like, she sells with me. She engages in all this stuff with me. She went through like a full tote full of 80s and 90s GI Joe figures, cataloging all of them and putting all of the correct accessories with them so that they were all complete.
John from Sergeant Reds just messaged and mentioned to me when we were talking. He's like, I asked him if he has a figure, and he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm sure I do, but I need to start cataloging it. He's like, we need to do a day and have you come in and do this. I'm like, well, we can figure something out. I mean, if you have some accessories that you're willing to part with, and it's actually it's very relaxing to go through the vintage figures, especially the ones that I remember, and put weapons with backpacks with them, completing them out. It's very soothing for me. You know,
The way she explained it was like it gives her something to hyper focus on. So
yeah.
and that's what all this stuff is. I mean, it's just hyper focusing on shit.
Charlotte, my wife came to Joe Fest with me once. Yes, for her birthday. Yeah, as on her birthday.
See, that's the problem that I have with going to Joe Fest, is that it would be around my wife's birthday, and it's just never an opportune time to go spend 3 days at a toy show.
And now it will also be around your son's birthday.
Yeah,
But he can drive there on his own now because he's so fucking big.
right. Remind me in a bit, and I'll send you a picture of my daughter holding him.
If you don't know, Terry has a not 1-year-old yet that is, I think, what, 3 inches taller than me last, you said?
Yeah.
About 5'7" now.
Yeah.
He changes his own diaper.
Right.
They're like, why can't you just go shit on the pot? And he's like, I'm just going to change the diaper.
Dude, he's getting to the point where he's like discontent all the time because he wants to go and his body won't do what he wants it to.
Okay. Tell it, how big was your son when he was born?
I'd have to look, but he was over 10 pounds.
Yes. And I was like, and she didn't leave you right there?
Nope.
And she actually was on screen and she was like, nope. I'm like, yeah, you're a good woman. Because my daughter came out 8 pounds something, and you know, she was the shortest and the heaviest of all 3 kids my ex had, and she wasn't happy. And again, remember, it's basically a watermelon coming out.
Yeah.
To the people that didn't have kids or didn't watch it, it's pretty much a watermelon coming out that just crowns just a bit.
I actually did not watch my son come out. We were having too many other things going on. So
It happens. I was able to watch both mine, and you know, my ex thought I was gonna fall asleep, or not fall asleep, was gonna pass out because I have a very weak stomach. But it didn't bother me at all. And I think probably because it was my own kid. If I had never seen it before and you asked me to watch somebody else, I might have felt a little bit different.
he got stuck. He got stuck and was without oxygen for 3 minutes and 47 seconds. And once they got him out, it was 1 minute and 3 seconds before he took his first breath, before they revived him. When he came out, he had no heartbeat, he had no blood pressure, he had no vital signs. He was dead. And they revived him after working on him for 1 minute and 3 seconds. They were worried that he was going to have brain damage, neurological damage. and they immediately started cooling his body down. They called for the transport team to come and take him, and they dropped his. They kept him at. They kept him at 92 degrees for 72 hours. It's called hypothermic therapy. No formula, no milk, no food, no water, nothing. 72 hours. It basically slows down the metabolism and prevents the brain from swelling, and it can allow any potential damage to repair itself because everything is slowed down so much, and it can prevent further damage if there is already damage. So he had to go through a barrage of neurological tests. He had to have ultrasounds of his head. He had to have an MRI. He had to have all kinds of stuff. And he's fucking perfect. He had no damage whatsoever.
Now, through that, was it weird that he was running the machines himself and then jumping in them? I was about to say, like, and I do remember you talking, and you let us in. It was gonna be like, it was just weird that he grabbed the scissors and cut his own umbilical cord, and no, and again, I'm again, it's anyone that hasn't, and there's nothing wrong with if you haven't had a kid, but you don't understand it until you have your own kid, and I do truly mean that. When my son was born, that's when you again, it's after it happens. When that first kid is born, at least for me, you're like, I would die for this person.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing in this world that I would not do for my kids.
Yeah. And again, this guy right here, right? If you can see him sleeping, I love this guy.
Yeah.
And I hate when people say, I don't have kids, but hey, I have my dog, so I know what you feel like. Do you just compared my fucking kids to your dog? Let me explain something to you. If someone walked over and put a gun in my kid's face, I am stepping in front of that gun to protect my kids.
Yeah.
I love this guy. This dog has been wonderful to me. But if someone puts a gun in front of my face, I'm expecting him to come bulldozing in and take the bullet for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't produce this kid. He's not
part of you.
Yes. And it is weird, and again, like I can't express it, but it's when it's that you hold that kid for the first time and you're like, now like your whole life, literally, you're like, now I understand. Now I understand what people have said. And I've talked to friends that don't have kids, that the smart friends, no offense to the people that don't think like this, where my buddy Tony would be like, he's like, I know I can never understand what it's like, but I understand what you're saying. Like, exactly. Like, you can understand, but you also know that you can't ever understand that feeling. But when people, again, I don't know if anyone's here from Joe Fest. When I did my walkthrough, there was a person with a service dog. And I'm doing the walkthrough. It's early in the morning. And I go, oh, there's even dogs here. And she goes, don't record she goes, don't record my dog. And I was like, whoa. And she goes, please edit that out. And I went, all right. And then I'm like, whatever, dude, fucking crazy bitch. And then I see her a little bit later on. And she says, she goes, oh, I'm sorry about how I acted, but you have to understand, you recording my dog would be like if I was recording and then I recorded your kid. And I didn't say anything, but I had to bite my fucking tongue because I wanted to be like, you just fucking compared your dog to my fucking kid.
Yeah.
First off, I didn't try and pet your dog because it's clearly a service animal. I was just showing the dog. All right. And if you walked by and you said, hey, look, there's even kids here, and it was my kid, I wouldn't throw a fucking fit about it. I wasn't following your dog around, but to go back to my first thing, you just compared your dog to my fucking kids. It's not. It's nothing like that.
Right.
So I don't know how we got on the subject, but you know me. About your giant
Whatever.
son. That's how it was. So, okay. So you have 2 kids. Your wife hasn't left you yet, even though you're popping out like 18-pound watermelons. Like, and she's younger than you, correct?
Yes.
And
She is younger than me.
how much younger is she than you?
She is 14 years younger than me.
So, wow. Does she want more?
No.
Yeah, that's because you kid like big giant fucking pumpkins out of
I don't think we're gonna have more. I'm gonna get the little snip. So
there. Highest me says my dog would be pissed if you didn't film him. He's a model and a whore. No, again, like, and I don't, because I clipped it out of it. You can see me like, I don't remember if you watch the walkthrough, I don't remember if I say anything because I did end up cutting it out. I almost didn't, but I'm like, I don't want this lady to find it and then be like messaging Ed and being like, this guy was filming and leaving messages, But I think I do make a comment about like, don't touch the dogs or something like that. I forget. And
Yeah.
Darren was there. Everyone knows the story because I was like, what the fucking crazy bitch. I hope she's watching right now.
watching.
She's waiting for the unedited version to come out. So she's younger. It sounds like you guys are still debating whether to have more.
No, I mean we pretty well decided like we're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like we totally would have another one, but having another kid also means like getting a bigger house, all this other stuff, the possibility of things happening like what happened with Robert, and neither of us want to go through that. This was also a very tough pregnancy for her.
Okay.
Pregnancy with our daughter was not bad at all, but she had a hard time with him, dude. Like she said that she felt like shit most of the time that she was pregnant with him.
Yeah. Yeah, my ex, she with Olivia, it was rough. Charlotte says a guy I worked with once said he needed a few weeks off when his cat died, comparing to someone losing their mother unexpectedly. Our boss said, seriously, in response, yes. Now, my boss, he let me leave early when we unfortunately had to put Sheldon to sleep, which was the dog we all got together, but went with Susan. But I had always been with him, right?
Yeah.
And I told my boss, I asked my boss, he said, yeah, when I saw him the next week, I said, hey, I want to say thank you for letting me off and also fuck you, because it was awful. Like, I mean, I'm glad I was there because the kids needed it, and I would have regretted it, but it was awful. But yeah, like that type of stuff. Like I need a few weeks off. I lost my cat. You can have the afternoon off. How about that? You know what? Fuck, just stay home tomorrow.
Yeah, I took.
Be here next week.
I remember when my dog died. This dog, I had a miniature pinscher for 14 years, and he was old. He was sick. He was diabetic. He was a testicular cancer survivor. He was blind. He ended up dying of heart failure. And the night that he died was it was July 5th. It was the night that I went back to work from 4th of July. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, came home, and she found him. He was in the process when she got here. She called me, and I work like 10 minutes from home. So I'm rushing home, and ended up, being off work that night and all that. And it sucked. It was rough.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was my best friend for a long time. The one thing that was constantly there through like some really shitty parts of my life.
I understand that for sure. you know. But again, I don't know how we got on this, but this is what happens on this show.
And it's fucking great.
I've made people cry only a couple times. I'm really awkward when people cry because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like,
That's kind of like when I get a compliment. I don't know what to do with my hands.
well, since you never get it, you don't have to worry.
Right.
when Terry gets a compliment on whenever Terry gets a compliment on Circle of Jerks, he just bounces out. All right. So, how long have you been doing YouTube for?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't tell you, dude. I don't know.
I don't.
Time doesn't really exist to me. I don't really have.
The pandemic killed time.
Dude, I had a shitty sense of time before that too. Here's how bad it is. My wife asked me something about the dishwasher. And she asked me how long I'd had it. And I'm like, I don't know, a couple of years. And she's like, we've been together for this many years. I'm like, well, I bought it quite a long time before that. And like, she made me realize that I'd had this fucking dishwasher for 10 years. So, yeah.
Yeah, and people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I've had the channel because I started, it's a YouTube channel, and you create a channel. So like, I think my earliest video was probably like 12 years ago, and it's just a walkthrough of my GI Joe stuff. But I wasn't. It was just showing my GI Joe stuff. It wasn't anything.
Dude, you've made me want to look and see when I made my first video, which I'm gonna do right now. As soon as I can figure out how. View my channel, videos, oldest. 7 years. I've been doing this for 7 years.
Okay. Yeah, and like I tell people, I go, like, my first video wasn't when I started the channel. I just created the channel. There's probably stuff on here before because I used to have, like, I probably put some some skateboarding stuff on it. But that was just I was uploading stuff. I think I started before the pandemic because I wasn't collecting the classified stuff. I just was reviewing a few. I wouldn't even call it reviewing. I was comparing them. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't trying to create a channel. There are people nowadays, now people are actually trying to create a channel, to create the channel, where before I just kind of had a YouTube channel and just started doing stuff. So,
for me, it was just something to do along with collecting.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I reviewed was a Loyal Subjects G.I. Joe figure that fucking broke right out of the box.
Loyal Subjects G.I. Joe.
Yeah, they're like great big heads and they're weird.
Oh. So is that like the vinyl figures?
Yes, they are like an articulated Funko Pop.
Okay, so was it the first wave or the second wave?
It was Blowtorch, whatever wave that was.
I think I have Blowtorch. They're awesome.
Okay.
They look just like it. They have the exact same weapons, correct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a whole bunch of them. They were blind boxes, right?
Yeah, they were blind boxes.
But if you open the box, then you could see the file card, so you knew which one you were going to get.
Yeah.
So if you're at Toys R Us and you open up the box, you went, "Oh, I have a few of those." I love them. I have a few. Every now and then, Major Blood will fall over because his head is so big, and then his helmet goes rolling. They were fun though. I didn't realize that's what they were. Loyal Subjects, though. Loyal Subjects doesn't have the greatest reputation in toys.
No, they don't.
So you started off doing reviews, but you've done other stuff too. Like, I know you do some live streams other than maybe the greatest ensemble of all time in the toy industry, Circle of Jerks.
So before I was a toy tuber, I was a gun tuber.
Okay. So talk about that a little bit.
So a friend of mine that I've known since I was a kid. He worked at a local Ace Hardware. He ran the gun counter, and we had access to every used gun that would come through. We could take it out and shoot it. And we had a membership to a conservation club gun range. And we would take all these, like, dude, we had all these really cool guns that we would take out. And like, we got to a point where people were loaning us stuff to make videos on. Like, I've made videos on like captured World War II firearms. I've made videos on like Vietnam bringbacks, trophies of war. Because at a point in time, like back World War II, Korea, Vietnam, you were allowed to bring back trophies of war.
Okay.
You like one of the guns that there's a whole documented story about this M9130 Mosin Nagant sniper rifle. It has the scope. It's a Russian rifle. There's a whole documented story about the guy who brought this back, and it was basically a standoff between him and another sniper that had been hunting each other for days around a village in Vietnam. And he killed the guy, and the heads, I guess, I don't know, whoever was the leaders, the elders, whatever, of the village, like presented this rifle to him as like a trophy for killing that sniper. And he got to bring that home.
Now, do you still have this channel? I'm assuming it's
I
not
don't
the
do
channel
anything
you're
with
on
it.
now.
I still have it, but I don't do anything with it. I haven't done anything with it for a while. The gun community it's it's terrible. It's as bad or worse than the toy community or the Jeep community, the off-road.
Well, I think it's worse because the toy community, they just have toys to throw at you. The gun community actually have something they can use to hurt you.
And it's literally just harsh words. That's it.
But every community is like that.
It is.
I mean, I've seen how the skateboarding community can be. I've talked about, I worked at a gymnastics place just doing like boys rec. But I've watched how the team acts, and it's like this, you're supposed to be raising money for kids on the team to go places, right? Like, why is there turmoil in this? You shouldn't be fighting like this. So you were doing gun tubing well before that.
Yep.
And you were just getting nice old shit like that.
Everything from like old trophies of war type guns to like new semi-automatic whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Like there's a video of me standing up shooting a 50 caliber freehand.
All right.
There's a video of me emptying a 20 round drum of slugs from a semi-auto 12 gauge. Basically, it's an AK chambered in 12 gauge. It's Sega 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just like all kinds of fun stuff like that. We do like some slow motion shots of like firearm cycling, bullet impacts, and things like that.
Hi, it's me. Says you monster. 50 cal freehand.
Yes.
So
dude, I'm telling you, like the feeling of firing a 50 BMG not bench rested, standing freehand is exhilarating. Because I'm assuming that you probably haven't fired a 50 BMG.
I've never fired a gun in my life.
Okay. So firing a 50 BMG, you feel the concussive blast inside your face and in your chest.
Okay.
It's fucking wild.
No, and again, like I know I've talked to people that are like, and I'm not going to get into gun laws, gun rights, or whatever like that. I'm not going to get into that.
No, we
don't. A lot of people that will tell me they're like, no one needs to have, an automatic rifle. Like we don't need that. Oh, okay, I guess. But here's what I have to say: no one needs a car that can run 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. But some of those people that have those, they like to go to a thing called the track where they can do that.
Or they
These
just
people-
take overs in fucking Louisville where they just, obstruct traffic and
Well, yeah,
but,
But what I'm saying is, like, no one needs a car that can do 190 miles an hour
Right.
either. But there's tracks that you can go and take these to.
Mhm.
Responsible gun owners that like having assault rifles because they're collectors. It's hard for me to question any type of collector.
Yeah.
Well, why would someone want to collect that? I don't know. Why does anyone want to collect fucking plastic action figures? I don't have an answer for you, but it's something really cool.
the
And-
people that are collecting full auto stuff, they're doing it as an investment, which, like, there's a whole thing that goes into that, and why civilian ownership of post 86 full auto samples is not allowed and all that. But anyway, sorry.
But no, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like it's again, there are rifles that you can take to gun ranges that, yeah, you're not going to walk around where you shouldn't walk around town with them, but you enjoy doing it. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I've said before, like everyone always says, like again, like if if someone broke into a house and someone comes down with a gun to protect themselves, you're going to be scared. But if you saw someone come down with a fucking samurai sword and you're breaking in that house, you're instantly going, this person is way fucking off because they came down with a fucking sword to defend themselves. Or if they come down with a bow and arrow and you're like, whoa, I'm leaving this house. Like, you know, lots of people will have guns. Not everyone's gonna have a samurai sword to come attack you. I know Matthew does, and it will be on the proper side so he doesn't lose his shit. But so you did that for a while, but once you got into the toys, what are you like? What type of content are you creating other than what you do with us on Tuesday?
So I was doing reviews. A lot of, like, I would just get new stuff. I would, go out of my way to try and get the new thing before it made it here. I was getting stuff from China, and I was posting reviews of stuff before it came out.
China reviewer. Okay, I get it.
I was at one point, and like it's not the cost just doesn't justify it. And like here lately, man, like I started to get a little bit bored doing that because I felt like I was just doing the same thing over and over again. And I tried to change it up a little bit and kind of present it a little bit of a different way.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. 3-star, you're right.
China. Yes. China.
Most passive aggressive word ever. That is the most passive aggressive way to ever say a word. China.
So I guess I got a little burned out with doing reviews, man. And like I love doing the live stream stuff. And like, the toy talk thing that I do on Sundays, that's completely different from Circle of Jerks.
Yeah.
But it's still fun for me. Like, the stuff that we talk about, and like we kind of bag on David sometimes and whatnot. It's it's fun. And I think that like doing the live stream stuff is a lot more fun for me than just sitting down and like giving my opinion of whatever the fuck, taking something apart, putting it together, whatever.
It's two different beasts completely.
Yeah.
And I know for me on Mondays, like, I do a show all by myself for 3+ hours. It's different than Circle of Jerks because first off, I'm not in control. I'm sitting down. Who knows what's going to happen? First off, Baldy doesn't. If you guys really want, Baldy doesn't tell us shit. Like, in all honesty, like, he doesn't create the show till usually 4:00 on that day. And,
Yeah.
And you can. I'm always the one usually Sunday going. You need a thumbnail, dude. Like, you need to do something.
A thumbnail, link, something.
Yeah, and like half the shit that you're seeing, we have no idea. And then half the shit that like you see Spec create, he doesn't show Baldy, and he just throws it up there because he has controls. So then we're all like completely lost, and I think it just makes for magical moments. I mean, it's just a blast doing this stuff.
Because it's so natural. Like this whole thing tonight, dude. Like I didn't prepare for this.
No, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like if someone prepared, I'd be like, "What are you preparing for?" I want you to kind of watch and see what it is, so you have a feel for it.
Yeah.
But I know I had Dom on Toy Domination, and he's like, "I watched a couple, but you know what I'm gonna do? You're gonna ask me a question. I'm gonna ask you a question too." I'm like, "All right, hey, it's about you, man. And if you want to ask me questions, awesome. I love talking about myself. Ask Matthew." So you were doing reviews, but you also do some other stuff. Now you also have a toy business.
Yeah.
A toy shop. Now, where do you sell at?
I sell online and at toy shows.
Okay. Now, am I correct to say you are not the person that is going in to every Ross, into every Ollie's, and buying those discounted figures to turn around and sell for $30? Or
No, I have a team of crackheads that I pay to do that for me.
okay. All right. Well, that's good because I saw one the other day. And you're not one of those people that goes and has someone clear out Walmart and Target.
No.
And then I walk in there and I see you trying to sell Footloose for $40, and I'm like, I can just go to fucking BBTS and order them right now.
Yeah.
You actually have a supplier. All right. So you have a legit company that you do this through.
Yes.
Now, can I ask where you sell online?
Oh, I sell on eBay and in my Facebook groups.
All right. So is it safe to say that when you are online on eBay and you're buying Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe, whatever, for roughly the same price that you would find in the store, obviously a little bit of markup, a lot of these stores are ordering from suppliers. That's why they
probably, especially if they have multiples of something, they're probably getting them from a distributor and they're paying wholesale for them, which is great.
I don't think a lot of people realize that.
I don't think they do either.
I mean, I know I didn't until I started talking to people, and I talked to like John at Sergeant Reds, and he's kind of let me in on, and I'll never tell anyone, but he's let me in on how much they make. And I can go back to when I used to work at a skateboard shop, when I was in my 20s, and I knew how much money we made off a skateboard, which isn't very much. Yeah. And the owner, she would tell me, she's like, we make our money off shoes and clothes. Like shoes is like a 50% markup. Clothes almost the same. Skateboards, it was like $4 a deck. She's like, they're just there because that's what you need a skateboard. Yeah.
Like that's the only reason I sell classifieds is because which I'm actually like letting that trail off and getting out of selling classifieds unless it's, I'll buy exclusives and flip them. I'll buy exclusives and sell them for a markup or whatever. But as far as like all the cases of classifieds I sold, when I first started doing this, it was hundreds of cases of figures that I was selling and I was making money. You make money in volume with those.
Yes.
Because the markup on a single figure, you're looking at the retail markup being anywhere from $3 to $5. And that's something that you have to pay. Like you got to either collect sales tax or you got to eat it. I typically eat the sales tax and just sell it at a flat price so that I can sell it cheaper than retail or whatever.
And I know even Hello Toys, because I've worked with them, they've told me like, we don't really make money off, the Marvel Legends, Black Series, but we keep it in our online store because if someone's in and they're ordering some Mythic Legions and stuff like that, they might look and be like, well, you know what? I'm going to order this Black Series. You have to have figures in there. And, John at Sergeant Reds has told me, he's like, Hasbro and Mattel, they don't give two shits.
No.
They don't care. He said every now and then when I look at their listings to order directly from Hasbro or Mattel, every now and then will be something that people want that we can get. Usually I have to go through a distributor.
Yep.
And the markup is not very big there.
I was set up with Hasbro. The wholesale price was $1 per unit cheaper than what it was going through the distributor, and the only stuff they had was like whatever was in stock at the time. There was no pre-ordering or anything like that, so it really wasn't worth it.
And I know when Entertainment Earth used to have 10% off for everyone that had a code.
Yeah,
I talked to John, and John was like, that's almost the same price that I pay. So if people go to Entertainment Earth and they're using your code for 10% off anything that was in stock, I can't sell it for that because I'm pretty much paying that exact same price that
Right.
they are to get it through you.
the profit margins on things are just so badly skewed.
Yep.
Like, I understand they have to make their money too, but like when there's no room for me to make any money on stuff anymore, dude, that's like right now, since Hasbro increased the price of a classified figure to $27.99, like that's completely destroyed the market.
And you have to sell it for about 30.
Yeah.
And people go, well, that's bullshit. I'm not paying that.
Right.
And the other thing that people don't understand or won't understand, again, whether or not we want prices to go up, people act like when Hasbro raises their price to $28, that they're making $28. Like, they don't make $28. There's a place called Target and Walmart. You may not know this, but they like to make money.
Yeah.
They don't just put it in their store because they're like, hey, Hasbro, we want to help you out. There's a lot of different things. And again, I'm not here to debate whether or not figures should be $28, but I can tell you that they don't make $28 off a figure like people tend to think.
Mm-mm. No, most of the time the toy department loses money.
Yeah. And I had a nice talk with somebody, with a friend of mine, and he talked to somebody that not so much works in toys, but has in the actual production. And they were talking about the prices of like Operation Monster Force and stuff.
Yep.
And he was like, that sounds about right. When you start, especially these bigger companies, when you start paying, you think of all the top people on Hasbro, the designers, then you have to pay the workers, your project managers, you have to pay for the shipping because you don't pass. I mean, eventually you're going to pass it on. And then there has to be a markup for Target, whatever. Like, and again, if it's Entertainment Earth has to make their markup, then you have to make your markup. So now when you order from Pulse, that's when they can say, yeah, we're skipping the middleman.
Right. But they are.
And that's why they can't get it first all the time. Because when people get mad, and you and I have talked many, many times about the Facebook groups where I'm like, guys, we have to calm it. Our show is growing. We can't just insult people.
Yeah.
I know I love to do it too.
It's so hard not to.
Because some people, they're literally asking for it. And I know when I brought this up to you guys, I've had to do it for myself.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times I wanted to insult somebody and I don't. I make a constructive comment or criticism, and that person will be like, oh, I love watching your reviews and I love watching your live streams. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't insult you.
Yeah.
Even though you needed to. Even though I needed to.
It's hard not to sometimes, man.
Yes. And Tony, in all honesty, Tony is the only one in our group that doesn't. And I've said it before. Who would have thought that I'd be in a group of 5 people, and other than Tony, I would be the least insulting of all of them?
Right.
Usually I would be on the top. But it happens. But again, we see how the community is. And again, you're running a business and you're like, hey, and I know you've done a lot of not live streams, but you've done a lot of videos where you kind of talk about not only what you have coming in, but like what's going on. Haven't you? Which I always find interesting. When you actually hear somebody that's in the industry that can kind of break it down, I find that real interesting. Like, a lot of figures that are coming out.
Now, there's a reason why I don't like to talk about that most of the time, and that's because it can change. It happened to me when the Cobra Island Major Blood came out. That figure was solicited to me, and probably, I'm sure, other sellers as well. It was solicited to me as, this figure's coming out. We're getting it. How many do you want? And at that time, this is when I was selling a shitload of figures. And which, on a side note to that, being able to run a successful business is like having a variety of things that you sell and make money on, so that you can have stuff that you sell that you don't have to make money on, which is why I sell classifieds. Like, I don't have to make money on them. But I solicited that figure, and I was taking pre-orders for stuff. I took pre-orders for the infantry figure was one of the biggest pre-orders. Those and bats and alley vipers that I did. I sold hundreds of those, and I started taking pre-orders for Major Blood, and people were paying me up front. That money sat and waited. Like, it's not like I was spending it or anything, but I ended up having to refund.
But not everyone does that.
No. A lot of people, well, we can get into that too if you want to. But I ended up having to refund all of those orders because I had the order placed, and then all of a sudden, that figure was a Target exclusive. It changed.
Yeah.
It wasn't intended to be a Target exclusive, but became.
Okay. Yeah, so I know there's been a few things that you've discussed, and there was actually, I remember a video that you said, you know what, I'm getting these lists, and I've seen other people going on, and I'm just gonna start telling them. And I think you kind of backed away. I know you did it once, but I think you kind of backed away from it because it's not a good look. It's not a good look if you're getting all this stuff and you're the one, because eventually your distributor is gonna say, hey, I'm not selling to you anymore. Because we're not supposed to, you're not supposed to let these things, let everyone know.
Now, my distributor knew what I was doing, and like we talked about it beforehand, I made sure that it was okay that I let the stuff out, and like it was totally fine because my rep also collects GI Joe. But the reason that I stopped doing it is because it started to become a race between all these different people, seeing who could get the info first. And like trying to get people in China, getting on China social media, all this stuff, and it's like I'm just not interested in doing that. They can have it. Like, I have fun,
And I can say this: I'm not a news channel. That's why, like, some of these people that have an issue with me, these other big YouTubers, like they've had an issue with me. And I'm like, I'm not a news channel. I talked about the news on Monday, but by Monday you can go anywhere and see what I'm talking about. People aren't tuning in to see. They're not like, dude, this guy breaks down the fucking McFarlane better than anyone that's coming out. Like, every now and then you'll see me on Instagram post, but I don't, post like if a digital render, popped up. But you don't see me doing like the 5-minute videos talking about like the leaks because everyone's in a rush. And I learned this from running a sports message board. People want to be first so bad that they don't bother checking the resources and seeing if they're actually, or the sources, and seeing that if it's true. So,
and I don't have something that's not true.
And the fact is, right now, you and I could talk about something and say, yeah, we know that this is coming out. We know that there will be somebody that goes to some of these others channels, and they're going to post it. They're not going to give anyone credit, which is good because we'd be absolutely fucking lying. And they're going to run with it. And then when it doesn't turn out, they just delete it and act like they never did it.
Yeah.
Some of these people are like live on islands, have sharks that run around them. But
I also don't like to compete. I don't like this is just fun for me. There's no reason for me to compete with anybody on any of
it. I've always been about competing with myself. I've always said it like with skateboarding. Like there's a whole new world. And I remember I was trying to do a trick. And again, I'm in my fucking 40s skating, and I'm trying to do tricks that I was doing all the time in my teens and 20s.
Yeah.
And my buddy Tony comes over. He never stopped skating. He's a little bit older than me. He goes, hey, don't keep doing that. I'm like, why? He's like, that guy's been trying to do the lip slide for a while. And if you just go and do it, he's going to think you're showing him up. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, when did this become like, I can't do a trick because someone else is trying? No, I've been part of me trying to do a trick. And then, the really good asshole who needs to prove that he's better than everyone goes and does the trick and looks at you like that. That's a dick move. You didn't have to tell me you were better than me. I know you are. Right? And I've had guys do shit like that to me, and I'm looking at him like, yeah, I know you're better than me, dude. Fucking awesome. Like, but I don't really care. And there used to be a time when we were, like when we would do tricks, we were all trying to do the same trick. It wasn't like, whoa, that's his trick. Only he can do it. But that's how it is with this competition here.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always said, like, I'm here to compete with myself. Like when I skateboarded, if you were a skateboarder and you were better than me, I'd be like, hey, I want to be as good as him. Not to be better than you, but because you're that good. Because I would assume by the time I'm as good as you, you're that much better. And if you're not, well, that's on you for not progressing. Or maybe you just don't care. Maybe you just, put the board down and it didn't really matter to you. But to be better than someone or be before someone because your numbers have to be better. Now I feel like you should look at your numbers and you should want to grow. And there's one of the things I asked Matthew. I'm like, if I'm still talking to 12 people in a year, is that wrong that I don't want that? And he's like, not at all. And I think I've worked hard for that. But not because I need to be better than someone else. I am, but that's a whole nother story. I don't need.
Yeah, I mean, if nobody likes what I'm doing, then obviously I'm not going to do it anymore.
Unless if you enjoy it, like if you enjoy doing it.
Here's the way that a friend of mine put it to me, dude. When he's always been very supportive with all of the endeavors that I've had, and he asked me about what are you doing with since you're not doing music anymore, and the way that he phrased it, it was not an insult or anything, but it's like, I always have to be on a stage, regardless of what kind of stage that is. And right now, YouTube is my stage.
That is a great way to look at it.
Yeah. And it's very true. And I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah, it's like there's something about it that I need. So
not everyone can get in front of a camera and talk.
No. Or on a stage in front of 10 people or 100 people or thousands of people.
Yes. It's not, and there's nothing wrong if it's not made for you. And there's a lot of people I know with YouTube. They're like, I can't do it because I don't like my own voice. And one YouTuber that I heard say, because someone asked him about it, he goes, a lot of people don't like their voice or how they look and understand that whatever, like what you're hearing is what everyone hears every single day. That's what everyone hears. So don't worry about it. That's just who you are.
I'm going to read you bits of this conversation because my wife was texting me before she went to bed. And she said, I don't think I'm capable of talking for 2 to 3 hours. I said, I bet you could. I said, it's got to be something that you're interested in. And I said, maybe I should have you on mine to talk about Magic the Gathering or something. And she said, yeah, maybe we can play a game of Commander and talk about particularly interesting cards. So we could totally do that. And then she says, but what if people perceive me? And it's like, they very much will. And I said, you've been to shows before. You work shows with me. People perceive you there. It's like, yeah, that's different though, because she's actually looking at them as well. She's looking back at them. Okay. And not being able to see the people that she's talking to over the internet, she thinks would be really weird to her.
I can understand that, because you look at other reviewers. How many people don't know what Bobby B looks like, or shark eyes. There's a lot of, a lot of guys, they do their reviews, they never show their face.
Yeah.
Their hands are in it. I made a conscious effort. I've talked to Tony about this. I've talked to others. Matthew's going to say, see, it's all about Punk. I made a conscious effort to show myself at the beginning, at the end of all my reviews, because I wanted to make that connection with people.
Yeah. Now
you actually know who I am. Whether you like me or not is a whole nother story. Now, it means I can't walk through Joe Fest without people stopping me every aisle. Now, I know that sounds pretty egotistical, but Tony's right here. I don't know if Ed's still here. They'll fucking tell you the same thing. They're like, yeah, it was pretty annoying, to be honest, because everyone kept stopping you. People, please, if you hear that, like, don't not stop me because Ed's a jerk and doesn't want you to stop and talk to me. But I made a conscious effort that I wanted people to see me. That's my connection. And I think a lot of that goes to, even though I was doing a sports message board and I was the moderator for the radio station, those guys are on TV all the time. So you know what they look like. And it creates this one-on-one connection. This is what live streams do. They create this. When I did this, I said, I want it to be somebody that is part of my community that supported me, and I can't speak to an avatar for 3 hours. It has to be face to face, because if this was just your Action Media avatar, right, I never get your facial expression. I don't see how you're acting. If you're truly bored, if you're fucking walking around eating cereal or something like that, that would drive me fucking nuts. Tony says, F that, people see me everywhere. Yes. Because anyone can see you any day on a live stream because you're on every day. Cooter says, you came and found me at AR. They pointed out to me who you were. They're like, it says Cooter on it.
Now you've made me self-conscious, hoping that I haven't put off vibes that I'm bored or anything, because I am just fucking weird sometimes.
You? Why?
I don't know.
No, not at all.
Okay.
You don't have an avatar up.
No, the boredom thing. I'm not in any way, shape, or form.
When do you think why? You mean now, today, or you mean on Circle of Jerks?
Now, today, because you mentioned not being able to tell if people were bored, or being able to tell if somebody was bored or not. So it automatically made me feel like I.
Oh my God, no. There are certain people that my moderator, Matthew. We talked about doing stuff before, and he didn't want to ever be on. He didn't ever want to be on camera, and he was like, I could probably do it, and I just have an avatar up. I said, I'm not going to do a show with an avatar. There was a reason. Do you know who? Oh God, I can't think of his name. The meme king. Fuck, I just had him on the show not too long. Chaz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forced you, Matthew, and now we can't stop fucking seeing you on every fucking. You're on way more than Tony, to be honest. So Chaz, he went on a few shows. He always had his avatar, and I'm like, I'm not having an avatar. And I used to talk to Chaz all the time. We still go back and forth. And then I finally saw him on Attack Him, and he had his face. And I messaged him, I think either that day or the next day, and I said, hey, now that you're actually showing your face, would you like to do a Thursday with a friend? Because I think you have an interesting story. I've talked to you more than enough. But if you, again, I have to be able to talk to somebody. It has nothing to do with you. This is what happens when you start going around and you have all these. I can't stay on track with anything. If you haven't been able to tell from Circle of Jerks, this is what it's like one-on-one with me. Or if you ever watch my Monday show and people are like, I thought we were talking about Motu. How the fuck are we here? You left me alone with the chat. All right.
And I love it, though. I love it. Dude, this has been awesome.
No, and that's it. You see what people like. And there are some hosts that just, again, anyone's allowed to do their own show. Everyone's allowed to do their own YouTube show. And everyone, I hope, has their own personality. but some people are just not as entertaining as other. I will say this one again. I told Matthew early on doing my shows, I go, I just hope I'm not boring. And his response to me were, "You are anything but boring." I don't know if it was a compliment. It was kind of both. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Uh, so 3 Star says, I don't think anyone ever knew what B looked like until he was on your Thursday with a Nemesis show. He had been on a couple other shows before. I know he had done, I believe he had done Attack 'em once or twice.
Attack him!
But yeah, but you are right, Darren. He didn't do very many. I thought so. You've watched Bobby B, right?
Yeah.
So I thought Bobby B, and I told him this because he joined the Facebook group page, my Facebook group page, right? And I saw the name, and I'm like, and I click on it because I'm not friends with him at the time. I'm like, and I go, did you just join the Facebook group page? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's you? And he's like, yeah. I go, I thought you were like some 64-year-old Vietnam veteran that smoked like a 6-pack or a pack of cigarettes a day, drinking with that deep voice of yours. He's like, at the time, he's like, no, I'm like 30 years old and I just have a voice. But I totally thought he was like this old guy. And then you see him and you're like, no, dude, you're like this muscular, tall, young guy, which is even weirder because we don't have a lot of young guys in our community.
Dude, most of the younger guys that I meet collecting GI Joes, most of the younger ones are collecting like the 12-inch stuff, and it's probably the shows that I go to.
Okay,
but they're into like the old stuff.
I wonder where they get that from.
I don't know.
I guess like a younger guy. When you talk about like in their 20s,
Yeah.
so you would think that more than likely their parents, like their dad, would be a generation above me, or could be in their 60s. Yeah, I mean, my son's 19, my daughter's 16. So you figure maybe someone in their late 20s, their dad's in their 60s. Maybe they were collecting the 12-inch, and that's what their connection to.
Maybe.
And then all they need is a little nudge to get classified in there.
All they need is a little nudge to have a train set in the basement with a fully set up city. And
I don't care what anyone says. If somebody has a fucking full size train set in their basement, I'm like, take me there. Hopefully, there's not like fucking chains and fucking shit that I'm like.
Dude,
oh,
if
shit.
you ever make it down here, we will go to the toy mall in Louisville. Like if you make it down here for one of the Kentuckiana shows,
yeah,
we'll go to the toy mall in Louisville. They have like a whole train section set up.
See, I used to love that stuff. I used to like the train sets. I love people that have the slot cars that have it, the whole, like a whole fucking race rig.
Yeah.
Trees and everything. Like, again, how many people have gone into Hobby Lobby or Michael's and you're just looking at all these little trains? I love that stuff, but you collect toys and you're immature. And like, what about your $10,000 train set downstairs?
Right.
With little people. But no, dude, it is crazy. And this whole YouTube world has been not what I was expecting. I didn't expect to be doing 3 different shows a week. Mondays and Thursdays, and then the whole Baldy thing, the whole Circle of Jerks, which it wasn't even called that to begin with. We really didn't have any. I wanted to stick with Not Another Toy Tube Show, and Baldy didn't like that, or I don't know if anyone liked it. Obviously not. I was thinking I was the only one. And next thing I know, we're fucking doing a show every Tuesday. You it's not a spin-off of anyone else, as you can see, because two of the main people on it, because there's only 5 of us.
Right.
We didn't come from any other shows. I don't say it's a spin-off of, Punk with Toys. You don't say it's a spin-off of, well, I don't even know what you were calling yourself at the time. So
It's just a character on a show, man.
So we have been going almost 3 hours. It's actually midnight right now. I want to ask you a couple things before. First off, where can people find you? Which I actually have in the description, but tell people where they can find you.
So I'll drop my OnlyFans link in the comments.
Okay.
And YouTube, obviously, Action Media Toys. eBay, Action Media Toys YouTube channel. Search that and it'll bring me up. Actually, if you just search for G.I. Joe, you're going to see stuff that I'm selling. Like, all you have to search for on eBay is G.I. Joe, and you'll see my cases.
Okay.
And Facebook, my name on Facebook is actually Terry Ruin. And I have several Facebook groups. Some of you are probably in the G.I. Joe Classified Marketplace, which I started that for just a free market where, like, we don't do the price bashing thing. If you price your shit too high and nobody buys it, whatever. But people don't need to make a comment about how you've priced something at what they perceive to be wrong.
Which is great because, like, I have my own Facebook group and I don't let people trade or sell. I'm like, there's other places to do that. I don't want that here. So it's great that you have that.
And discussion is more than welcome in that group as well.
So. Yeah. And sometimes, Baldy's mean to people.
Yes. And that's okay.
And there is Terry's YouTube channel. Like I said, it is also in the description, but you can just click right there, head on over there, hit the subscribe. Your Instagram. Are you doing anything on Instagram, really? I know I have you.
I don't do a lot on Instagram. I need to, because I need to start promoting my toy line.
Yep. Oh yeah, we need to discuss that. You need to mention that shit to me. I can't remember stuff.
Yes. Look. I am working on a.
Hold on, wait. So this asshole showed up. Did I miss Terry eat the cookie? Yes.
I don't have. Well, I mean, I have Twizzlers.
All right.
Suck the icing through a Twizzler.
Tell everyone about what you have going on.
Okay, so I've wanted to create my own toy line, my own comic for a long time, since I was a kid, really. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, fucking do it. Quit thinking about it and just do it. Okay. So through the numerous people that I've gotten to know and be friends with, I've floated the idea to some people over the years, and basically I have a friend that's been making toys in China for over 20 years successfully. And he's had successful Kickstarters, multiple successful Kickstarters, has made all kinds of different toys, not just G.I. Joe type figures, but he extended the offer to help me make it happen. And I started working with another friend of mine that actually does the Sunday show with me, who owns a comic store and has published a couple of comics of his own before. I started working with him on the comic. So I'm writing these stories, and he is helping me. He's editing and helping me script them into comic script. We're using the artist that he used for his books, and another friend of ours is doing the color and lettering. And I'm actually going to start working on doing some of the color myself as well to help him. But I have like 5 stories written, a sixth one in progress. We are beginning to work on the action figures, and the digital sculpting for the action figures will start after the first of the year. Some of you may be familiar with Strike Force Alpha. It is a 3 3/4 inch O-ring figure, much like the GI Joe of the 80s, 90s. Yeah,
That's the ghost from
call
Call
sign.
Sign Rumble.
Yeah. So, which just to make sure nobody thinks this, like we're not affiliated with them or anything. So
Yeah.
but
kind of like what we were saying about musicians, there's only so many people in this sphere that
Right.
you can work with. So you work with a lot of the same people.
yeah. So what I wanted to do with this is combine things that I'm passionate about, interests that I have, and kind of like what I think Hasbro should have done with GI Joe. A story is very important to me. Having context behind something, like figures are cool, but they're not as cool to me if I don't have any idea what they are. Like that's neat. Who is it? What is it?
I think especially at our age.
Yeah,
When you're a kid, it's a little different
it is.
because your mind is running wild.
It's all imagination.
Yes. We
But-
lose it when we get older.
Context is really important for me, and that's why I wanted to make this comic book, which we were originally going to do the comic book first and then focus on figures, but now we're doing all of it at once. So it basically just kind of like what I thought Hasbro should have done with GI Joe, or what GI Joe should have become, combined with other interests that I have outside of that, like ancient history and mythology and legends. Things I've been interested in again since I was a kid. When I was in 6th grade, we had this career thing, and what I really wanted to be at that point in my life was an archaeologist.
Okay.
Like I can't, like we were supposed to come into school dressed up as whatever we wanted to be, and I was dressed up as an archaeologist or like an Indiana Jones type of.
Did you have a whip?
I did, but I didn't bring it to school.
Was it a real whip?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that point in time, I was also into like whip cracking and stuff.
And you like Jeeps, right?
Yes. So I've kind of taken all of that.
I'm so mad right now that Wreck Ship isn't here because he would be losing his shit.
Why?
I will tell you later.
I'll see him. I'll see him next month.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. You'll
So what we've done with this, it's called ARC, Artifact Recovery and Containment.
which is what if you look at the thumbnail, I use your logo that you're using. And it is all over, plastered all over your Instagram too.
Mm-hmm. And we basically take like some type of artifact is central to each story, and I build that story around that artifact. And this first one is a little bit different from the others that I've written. This one is more entwined in Arthurian legend and the movie Excalibur, being the Mask of Mordred. The Mask of Mordred is the artifact that the story focuses on. That and other stuff that I won't get into, but it's a lot of Arthurian legend. We're using actual locations that you can physically go see. We're using these locations in the stories. So, I mean, there's an element of realism to it. And the it basically just, it's archaeological adventure or adventure archaeology. So, and then throw into that the team protagonist and antagonist aspects of it. So,
Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up really quick here. So this is what you're looking at. Like,
Yeah.
I hate this. Wish I could adjust this. So again, this is where I literally just ripped the thumbnail from that arc up there. And clearly, the way you have it set up is that, there are other, they're not just digging stuff and not just dusting off bones and stuff. I see a gun there. which I think we all want to see. And here's a little description about it. And I'm very interested. Now, what size are these figures going to be?
They will be 3 3/4 inch O-ring figures.
Okay, now that line is dead, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Format's dead. Nobody wants anything to do with it. If it's not 6 inches, it's not a real doll. Or is it a real doll?
I'm a real boy. No, I think it's awesome. And I'm sorry, I totally forgot that we were going to talk about this. Now, when are you looking for this to go up, and how many figures are you looking to have to unlock? Like what is going to be the initial offering? Is there a specific unlock that you have in mind, and when?
So what we've discussed, I have 6 figures in mind in total. The initial offering is going to be for 2 figures.
Okay.
And once that's funded, we'll work on unlocking the other figures after that in the campaign. I don't have a start date for the campaign anymore because I'm paying for all of the pre-production work out of pocket.
Okay.
And it's not cheap. All the artwork, all the everything, I'm paying for it out of pocket, which is why I'm selling the shit out of everything I can right now to pump some money into this. And the digital sculpting is not cheap. I want to have everything in hand before we do a Kickstarter so that we're not taking forever to get product in the hands of backers.
Okay.
I want to have something that's either ready or very close to ready to send to production.
Okay. Which is going to take time no matter what. And again, we've seen it. Again, here we are still waiting on, the call sign Longbow. Operation Recall is finally getting their stuff, and it shows. I don't know when I'll get it because I didn't go all in. So all in backers are going to get the first 4 figures. I don't even remember what figures I've ordered. It's been so long. But we've seen Delta 17, who we just recently had Ken on, where he talked about it. Again, I think we all can agree. I think all reasonable people can agree that as of right now, the 6-inch line is what is really popular. But there is a place for O-ring figures, 3.75 and modern 4-inch. I don't understand why people feel like there's no place for it. And I'm sure you've probably already had people that have told you, why would you do this? This is stupid. No one wants that line. No one wants that size.
I've seen that a couple of times, and it's not discouraging because I'm basically going to kind of do what I want anyway.
Yeah. So. If you look around again, there were other size figures than the 3.75 when we were kids.
Dude, I think one that got me the most was a buddy of mine. He didn't watch the video before he sent it. But he sent me this video. Oh, I can't paste a link to an eBay listing in the chat.
No,
it's action _
if you put it in the private chat, I can do it.
All right. There you go. So he sent me this video, and the guy was talking about people running Kickstarters for toys and how everything was a vanity project and wasn't going to fund, and you just shouldn't do it. And if it's not if it's anything less than something that you have a known property for, then it's a waste of time. That's completely untrue, because every single one of these Kickstarters that we've seen be successful, every single one of these independent toy lines that we've seen come to fruition, all of those have been quote unquote vanity projects that build a fan base. And that's what I want to do with this. I want to build an organic fan base. I don't want to pay people to listen to it or watch it or buy it or whatever. I'm not trying to pay influencers to talk about it or anything. It's I want to build an organic fan base because this is something I truly believe in. It's something that I'm passionate about, and I believe that other people either are or will be as well.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly what you have to do. It's something that you want to do. Again, if you were making 2-inch figures, something that's never been done before, a 4.5-inch figure, and like, well, what the fuck is that going to work with?
Yeah.
You know, we discussed, I believe we all discussed the whole HasLab Tron thing. And it's like you have this 3.75 initiative. These are new style of 3.75 figures. Why do you not start with G.I. Joe? You already have a whole bunch of vehicles. You can still go get on eBay or at toy stores. You have new sculpts and new stuff. And then you move on and you say, hey, you know what? In this world, you can also have these Ghostbusters. Here's the Ghostbusters with that articulation. And here's the Tron with that articulation.
And see, they did that with Ghostbusters and O-Ring figures, and it seems like they just kind of ignore it. I don't think that Hasbro has I don't think that they have the capabilities to push and promote that, because they need to build back up that fan base for that style of figure.
I've said it before. I believe someone like Hasbro, they are not into making thousands of dollars. They want to make millions of dollars.
Right.
And by doing 3.75-inch G.I. Joes right now, you're looking at making hundreds of thousands of dollars, not millions of dollars like you can with classified.
Right. Because they've basically used all of these other 6-inch lines or all these other 112 lines, and they're just throwing G.I. Joe into it with no context.
Exactly.
They're feeding off nostalgia. Their target audience is middle-aged men that are either trying to relive a portion of their childhood or a continuation of their childhood.
And I know, Darren here says the 3.75 initiative, get the fuck out. Again, I don't think Darren's being negative on it, but again,
no,
why
right.
would you start with Tron, who has never been a successful toy line? And again, you have the most successful 3.75 line toy line of all time. It's not even a discussion, is it? Like, that's
no.
So why do you not start with the G.I. Joes? And like I said, you don't even have to do vehicles, because there's already vehicles you can go buy, or people are just going to incorporate them. This is why the Star Wars 3.75, the 5 POA ones, they're awesome, because there are still people that collect that original and they like the uniformity, right?
I think that it was a half-assed attempt to rebrand the 3.75 scale figures. And I think that it was a push from Disney for them to do something new with Tron.
And I agree with that. This should be Initiative Disney 3.75.
Yeah, but I mean, it was obvious that Hasbro didn't give a shit about it.
I agree with that.
Like, from the start, it was obvious that Hasbro didn't give a shit about it, because it was just thrown out there like, yep, here's the new 3.75 initiative. Whatever.
Where when the Star Wars, and again, if you go back to the HasLab, that got pushed back by a month, which pushed back the Rattler to going up at San Diego Comic-Con rather than in June. I talked to someone who used to work at Hasbro, who his wife works on the Star Wars team, and he said yes, they had issues, and Hasbro was ready to go with it, but it got pushed back because there were some things they had to sign. He wouldn't say what it was, but all indications were Lucasfilm had told them those twins they would have signed to do the figures. They couldn't get them both to sign. It took like an extra month to get them both to sign. That's why I got pushed back. That was everything that I've heard afterwards, but he specifically said, yeah, it got pushed back because of Lucas. It was done, which then pushed back the Rattler to go up in July rather than Yojo June.
Man, I think that they could be wildly successful in 3.75, but they've got to fix their quality. They have to do something about their quality in order to be successful with it, because if you look at the quality of the figures that everybody, like the majority of people who collect 375 stuff, still have G.I. Joes that are 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The figures they're making now are not going to survive 40 years.
So my thing was, and I said this, so they gave us that Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes 2-pack. And then they gave us, I believe all the Transformer G.I. Joe crossover, that's really on the Transformer side. That's where you find it.
Yeah.
But they did Stalker. And even though they look like the original, they're all new sculpts. They're not using the old ones. So if you're doing all new sculpts, give us the necks that look down.
Yep.
Just because the original did it doesn't mean you can't with these because the new sculpts. Give us wrist articulation.
Yep.
Don't give us dead eyes. Like, give us something different because that's what the evolution of the O-ring would be, right? They didn't stick with the straight arm. They didn't stick with the neck that just went back and forth. They did it properly.
The
And so
technology.
why can't you do that now? Operation Recall's doing it again. Delta 17. If they can do it, why can't everyone else? They can. They choose not to.
Yeah.
And that's a complete miss. And that's why I look at the Super 7. I won't buy a Super 7 sight unseen because unfortunately it may look like total shit. Which
Yeah.
it probably does, no matter what. But
Some of them look really good, man, and some of them just very much do not.
so
I'm giving you a boot cut.
what?
He says, "Give us a boot cut." My goal is to give you a boot
Okay.
cut.
So I brought this up about Delta 17, and Steve is dead set against it because he said it really does break the aesthetic of it. And again, when I say I want a boot cut on O-ring figures, I don't want ankle articulation. I want the boot cut because then you can turn the figures. I don't like using stands. Again, I've mentioned that numerous times. But once you turn the boot a little bit, they can actually stand in different positions.
Yeah.
Just like that wrist changes everything when you're posing a figure to fire.
Strike Force Alpha's O-ring format has a boot cut, and they also have a forearm cut. It's not a wrist cut, but it's a forearm cut so that you
I didn't
can
know that.
swap out the arms.
I didn't know that. I don't have any of their figures, so
It's a really cool concept, man. There was a couple things that were kind of a miss on
Okay.
the first wave of them, like the elbows don't have a stop to keep them from hyperextending. They didn't use actual rivets.
okay.
Figures, all plastic connective pieces. I think that the T-bar is a metal T-bar, but originally, like, they had designed a completely different system that would have still been compatible with OG O-ring figures, but did away with the T-hook.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It did away with the O-ring and the T-hook, and they ended up changing it and going to the T-hook with an O-ring.
Okay.
It was going to be a friction type system with ball and socket joints and still be compatible with O-ring.
Oh
But,
wow.
yeah, it was really cool, man. I got to mess with one of the original prototypes that used that system.
Yeah, I've just never like they don't really interest me. Like they really didn't do it. And even Operation Recall, I was like, I liked them. I saw how it's supposed to be the evolution of G.I. Joe, but to me, and I only ordered 4 figures of each one, but the call sign Longbow, that spoke to me more than Operation Recall.
Yeah.
And so like the Delta 17. Now again, it helps being friends with the two owners and actually being pretty good friends with Ken. I mean, Ken and I go back and forth, and like you see us go back and forth. Him and I are actually pretty good friends. So, it's like that spoke to me, but just in general, if I'm being completely objective, I look at all the lines that I can remember seeing. To me, Delta 17 is the best of all the O-ring figures that they're pushing out there. To me, like
They are the most
military.
Yeah, I think they are the most like G.I. Joe in the O-ring figures.
These are. And again, I have a feeling Operation Recall will be the same thing.
Yeah.
When I opened up the Skeletron figure, which if you don't know, the Skeletron figure is a repaint of this.
Yes.
All right. But the explosion in the back, that cross cell, it felt like I was a kid again opening it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
I opened one of the O-ring Skeletron figures and I loved it too.
Yeah, it felt like it. The way you opened it up, the
Yeah.
explosion in the background, them putting the, now with wrist swivel.
And that quality, the quality's there.
And I don't know if you've seen it. Articulated Points, Patrick Stewart. He did a video. I don't even think it hasn't even been a year, but he talks about what's the difference between the O-rings that you see today and even like the older ones compared to what Hasbro did with G.I. Joe. And he breaks down everything from the paint to what they talked about with the arms, so everything could be universal. You realize why those Dukes of Hazzard O-rings felt so different. And this is why you see the figures today, Super 7, why they seem so different. And you go, all right, this makes sense to me. So, Carlos says, I'm happy with the quality of Skeletron's O-ring figures. And I'll be honest, that is what you will get with Cosine Longbow, because Cosine Longbow is the makers of that. Grindstone
Toys.
Yes. And I spent a lot of time talking not only to Troy, one of the owners, but also John Kukovic, which is Mikey Kukovic's dad. I had a long talk with both of them, and they both give me different things that I talked to them about, and why it's taken so long to get it, why they don't just go and blast the owners, or the factory. They're like, you get pushed right back. Like if I went and blasted them, we're never gonna get our shit out. And so it is one of those weird things.
So that's like what Jason was telling me about Strike Force Alpha. Some of the stuff that they want to make improvements on, some of the stuff that they're changing already. Like they're already doing this. So when more Strike Force Alpha figures come out, they will have these improvements. When my figures are done, they will have these improvements. So
So Matthew, yes, the Skeletron figures and the Cosine Longbow are all coming out of the same factory, which is the same factory. So those are the same factory where Operation Recall, they moved. They're coming out of the same factory now that Delta 17 comes out of. Because Carson moved it over. All right. So that was one of the big things. That's why because I actually said to Ben when we were at Assembly Required, he said, I'm ready to fly down there and go, I want the rest of our shit. Let's just get this done. And I'm going to tell him I want the Cosine Longbow stuff too. And I said, you just going to tell Carson can do it himself? He's like, Carson's at a different factory. They were all, I believe, originally at the same factory. And then they shifted over. So Carlos wants to know, will the factory put the swords on the right side? Well, we spent a lot of time, almost 3.5 hours, but we have to ask, because you brought it up at the beginning, right? A hooded Cobra Commander. You threw out the price of $51.99.
Yeah.
Now, clearly you know about this, so please, you got to tell everyone, because you can't just.
The only reason I'm saying anything is because Dan has already put it out in his